Now you just listen to the old Pork Chop Express and take his advice on a dark and stormy night when the lightning's crashing and the thunder's rolling and the rain's coming down in sheets thick as lead. You just remember what old Jack Burton does when the earth quakes and the poison arrows fall from the sky and the pillars of heaven shake. That's right, Jack Burton just looks that old storm right square in the eye and says, "Give me your best shot, pal. I can take it." Welcome back to Bad Movies Rule, the worst movie podcast ever recorded. And today, we're taking a trip out to San Francisco on the Pork Chop Express. And we're talking about Big Trouble in Little China. Let's go!
You forgot to eat something while you were delivering that speech.
I should have been munching on a half-eaten sub sandwich or something, right?
Absolutely.
Guys, this is a big day. It's a big day, not just because of the movie we're talking about, but this is our 50th episode.
5-0.
5-0. Let me do that again. 5-0. Guys, who would have thought? I never thought we'd make it this far.
50 years ago, we started this podcast.
No.
One movie a year.
That's right. One movie a year.
That's right.
We started this in 1969. No, wait, I can't do math.
Math is,
But
this show is trash.
That checks out.
at gmail.com.
And here we are, guys. We launched this all the way back in May of 2021.
Nice.
That was a good year.
And here we are, 50 episodes later. And so we thought, what better to do for the 50th episode than my favorite, I'll say, supposed bad movie of all time.
No, bad movie.
Big Trouble in Little China. So that's what we're going to do today, guys. We're going to talk about it. And today in the booth, we've got Mr. Joe Gorotowski. How are you, Joe?
Good. How are you, James?
I'm excited. It feels like there's like an electric atmosphere in the room.
There's an energy in this room.
There is.
Yeah.
And I'm going to dive in now and take a bath in it.
I'm going to swim in it.
That's what we're going to do. I'm going to soak our feet, scrub off the dead skin.
Dip our toes.
That's right. We're going to have I
Sit
don't know
back
what they
with
call
some
those
margarita
things.
mix.
Of pedicures. That's right. In the waters of Big Trouble in Little China. Kurt Mummer also joining us today. Kurt, how are you, buddy?
Hello, Mr. Hauser. You were not put on this earth just to get it. Hey, how are you?
I'm good, man.
I'm glad to be here for this one.
I'm glad
This was
that you're
my
here, too.
draft.
You did. You picked this movie.
I did.
And when you picked it, I think we even said way back then, how about for the 50th, right? I mean, that was like 10 episodes in.
I don't remember exactly, but I just know that when I drafted it, we were like, we are going to talk about this movie.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And joining us also for our 50th, the guy that was here on our very first episode all those months ago.
Yeah.
Clint Bush.
All the way from across the alley.
All the way from across the alley. Walked out of his shop and into this shop.
That was far.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Having
Yeah?
a great time. We just finished our point series and everything. We
Nice.
can relax a little bit.
I saw you redid the track.
We did. We redid the track, but we're coming in now. The most important thing to talk about a movie that you guys love, and for some reason I don't.
You don't? See, I thought you liked this movie.
I never
There's
saw
got to
it
be
before.
one guy, Kurt.
You never saw it.
I never
One
seen
guy.
this before. No. Again.
Yeah, sure. Okay, whatever.
I kill you
I've seen this movie once.
yeah.
once.
Now,
That's the one I
grandma
wanted to
showed
be
us
on.
movie.
full disclosure, it's actually maybe not a bad thing that you don't love the movie. It should make this a little more interesting because before it was admittedly going to be Bob in your seat, right? Because this is his favorite movie.
Okay.
And so we were going to have Bob in here, but Bob was not able to make it.
So this is Bob's fault, everybody.
Bob's fault. If Bob had been here, it would have been a love fest because it would have been a 4 for 4 sweep.
fest,
Okay, so this is good. Have a hot take. That's all I want.
Well, that's the thing is don't know if I can have what I'd call a hot take because I didn't hate it.
Okay.
It just wasn't, my.
You didn't
type
grow up
It's not
loving
my type
it.
of movie.
Yeah.
Okay. What was it about it that bothered you?
I just not really engaging in general. Honestly, I thought right off the bat Kurt Russell
Yeah.
is a D-bag. I did not like this guy chewing over his food, giving these speeches.
Okay.
You just delivered it way better than he did ever.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if I'm going to make it through this episode.
Calm down, guys. Calm down. It's all right.
Jack
Go to your corners.
Burton
Go to
is
your
one of the
corners.
best characters that's ever appeared in a movie since the movies were created.
It's
Jack
like
Burton's
Kurt
a
Russell.
saint.
That's right.
It's like Kurt Russell doing John Wayne.
That's right.
Sometimes when you think differently than the majority of people on the planet,
Yeah.
you're
You're
the
an
one
idiot.
that's wrong.
No, it's fine.
I'm just saying, sometimes.
Okay.
No, in this case, I think
These
the
are
majority's
opinions.
on my side.
I don't think that's true.
the
Otherwise,
movie
this
is
wouldn't have been a bad movie.
universally beloved.
By who?
Everybody.
No.
Okay, well, let's get to
The
it.
people who watched it.
I'm going to call somebody just randomly.
Let's get to it.
Like, have you seen Big Trouble in Little China? Do you like it? They're going to say yes.
I know 2 people
Call
in my
my
life
wife.
that have
Call my
ever
daughter.
hated it.
100% in our household.
Oh, they didn't like it either?
No.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, let's get around this table, and then we're going to dig into the vitals, and I'll kind of speak to what you're talking about, Clint. Okay,
do what you
but
do.
I want to hear from the impressions from Kurt and from Joe. So, Kurt, what's your history with the movie? Like, when did you see it? Do you have a background with? I mean, since you were a kid or what?
Yeah, I was a kid when I saw this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it was one of those ones where, you're behind the couch and you're not supposed to be watching it, but you're still catching, certain sections of it, and you're going, and what are you doing up? You're supposed to be back in bed. And then you're like, and you sneak back out, you watch the movie again. I mean, I loved it. Everything about this movie just screams from my childhood. I mean, from the 80s. I mean, I don't even know, when did this come out? 86?
85 or 86.
Yeah,
I think.
I was going to say I was like 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah.
So this is perfect time where
Yeah.
you're just starting to get into movies and
Oh, for sure.
and wanting to see what your parents are watching and that kind of stuff. So
Okay, cool. Joe, what's your impression of the film? Do you have a history with it as well?
My history is pretty much, I remember seeing it a long time ago.
Okay.
I think I revisited during my high school days.
Okay.
And I kind of re-embraced it, fell in love with it all over again during that time of my life. So, I don't remember when it first came out. I honestly don't. But it lives in my head.
Okay.
Rent free.
But you're a fan of it.
Oh yeah,
He's such a fan of it when knowing he was doing a podcast on it, he wasn't even able to complete watching the thing the night before.
You shut your face.
You didn't watch it?
But hey,
Huh? What?
where's the bus? Can you
What?
throw me under it?
Just did.
Hold on. You didn't watch the movie?
I've seen the movie many times. Have I got to revisit it? I
Wow.
ran out of time.
See?
Wow, that's
Couldn't even make time to watch this movie.
is that for Clint or Joe?
That's for
yes.
Clint.
It's
No,
for, it's for mostly Joe, but partially Clint.
Come on. Snitches get stitches.
Do your homework,
look.
man.
We got a big announcement coming, guys. This is the 50th. We're going to do it up big today, and shortly we're going to get to our big announcement. Before we get into the plot, as we know, we kind of start off with our overall impressions. We go through the vitals for the movie, which we're going to do here in a second, and kind of our history with it, and then we're going to take it through the movie scene by scene. For me, I first saw this, so this is my dad's fault. He loved this movie. Kurt Russell reminds me a lot of my dad, just from his mannerisms, the way he talked, the way he,
Sure.
So this movie
Anyone who
specifically,
came over to your house
yeah,
knew the original Jack.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so my dad had made a tape of the movie. It was on television. It was like, and he's like, "Oh, I got to tape it, right?"
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
the first version of the movie I saw, I had to fast forward through the commercials.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
Where
that
you
was
pull the little tab out on the back of the VCR and
Exactly.
you just tape on it. Yeah.
Exactly. And so that's what we did. And so it didn't have any of the swearing in it. It didn't
Sure.
have like that first scene with Egg in the lawyer's office wasn't on there. Right. And so
Sure.
I saw a different version. When I got older and I saw the real version, I remember going, what the heck? This is like, it was almost weird. They had all this stuff added into it. But man, I wore that VHS out. I don't think I was, I mean, it was well after it had come out because it was on TV at this point. So I probably was 9 or 10 or 11 at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I watched it like on rotation. Crazy. And I don't know. And I know this movie's been covered to death. I mean, I've just looked up how many podcast episodes have been done on Big Trouble in Little China, and there's a ton of them out there. And I don't know how much there is for us extra to bring to the table as far as like new information for this movie. And so it's likely going to be just, a celebration of the film along with Clint's dissenting voice, and we're going to dissect it and comb through it. It's been done by many people already. But I do think we're justified for having it on here because even though the ratings are going to tell a different story when we get to there, at the time that it came out, it was not beloved.
It was a flop, yeah.
and it has since grown in immense popularity.
I think what we're going to bring to the table today is our great impressions of Lopan.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Well, we'll just do that the whole time.
That's what's going to separate us from the rest of the guys.
Yeah, they didn't bring any new insights, but did you hear their low pans?
Oh,
it's fantastic. Shut up, Mr. Burton.
Girl with green eyes.
Yeah, so let's get into the vitals here. This movie was directed by the legend himself, John Carpenter. Now, Clint, are you familiar with the man's work?
I definitely heard the name before.
Okay.
I'm not the.
I know you're
guy
not,
who
but I always ask
no.
just in case. So
Absolutely.
This is the guy that did the original Halloween.
Sure.
He directed The Thing, also with Kurt Russell. Escape from New York.
Yep.
Escape from L.A., which we're going to be talking about in a couple of episodes from now. But yeah, John Carpenter directed this. It was written by originally Gary Goldman and David Weinstein. And when I say originally is because apparently from what I found out, the original script for this was set in the Old West. Mm-hmm. And it was his horse that he lost, not his truck. And from what John Carpenter had said, the script was almost unreadably bad. And so they brought in W.D. Richter, who only got an adapted by credit to rework the script, bring it into modern times, and change basically everything. And W.D. Richter, you might have heard, is the guy that directed Buckaroo Banzai.
Yep.
Nice.
Yes. So much better screenwriter.
Yeah.
That guy's batting 1,000 here.
Yeah. And they couldn't get Will Smith to play it either because
No.
he wasn't even relevant at the time. So
No.
that's why they changed.
That's why they did
Whoa!
it. So,
What's up, Mr. Lopan?
movie starred Kurt Russell, Dennis Dunn, Kim Cattrall, and James Hong, and a slew of other people, which we'll talk about. But here's what I was talking about earlier with the budget. The budget for this movie was $25 million.
Green
And
fire is expensive.
It is. And admittedly, there was a lot of effects, and I mean, Kurt Russell was a big name at the time. I'm sure he wasn't cheap, but the box office was only $11 million.
Oh, wow.
That sounds strong.
So and what Kurt and I have said again, this is what everybody has said. Everyone that knows the movie knows this. The studio didn't know how to market the film. It's kind of a weird movie. How do you market it? How do you?
Well, yeah. What do you put it as? Action flick? I mean,
it's a comedy.
Really, in my eyes, I mean, to me, this is the first movie I saw Kurt Russell be an action star.
Right.
If you want to call it an action star, but. As far as, him busting in, there's a gun, breaking down doors,
right.
being the lead, head guy. Right. Well, I feel like that's kind of what we've known Kurt Russell for now at this point.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to market it as, like most movies will get like comedy, romantic comedy, this and that. This was like comedy, action, horror, suspense. I mean,
Chinese mysticism.
Yeah, it was a laundry list of stuff.
Right.
And I think that's when
and the studio just didn't know what to do with it, right? Yeah. And so, but right now, it currently sits at a 7.3 on IMDb.
Which does not fit to our standards.
A 7.3.
Here's the
Did you pull up Rotten Tomatoes for me?
Yeah, sure.
Here's the thing with all of these movies that have a cult following. I understand there are many, many people who love this movie, absolutely love it. All of those people have reviewed it positively, and most people who didn't like it never even watched it.
We've talked about tons of cult movies. Buckaroo Banzai as a cult following doesn't have near the ratings that this does, and some of the other ones we talked about too that I don't have in front of me. All right, so right now on Rotten Tomatoes, the tomato score from the critics is 75%. Now I know that's not accurate to the critics at the time. We don't have those from the 80s. They don't have those in here. But the critics that have reviewed it since this became a thing, 75%. But the audience score is 82%, which means 8 out of 10 people enjoyed the movie.
So the only reason it's on this podcast is
It's the fact that it bombed.
Yeah.
So Clint was one of the 2 people that didn't like it.
So 2 out of 10 people don't like it.
Right.
And that's, that's a decent ratio.
I don't think that's true.
Or 1 out of 5, and we're 1 out of 4 here. So
we gotta legitimately go out there into the world and poll 1,000 people.
I'm telling you, bro.
Oh my God! What a great bit!
It's frustrating that I have to I've never. Wait,
Sorry.
what?
I was saying, what a great bit. Let's send Clint out and start interviewing people for our movies.
Gosh.
And saying whether or not they like this movie.
I don't know. He doesn't want me to do that because we did that in front of 50 people in my store, and I won 35 to none.
They all are friends of yours, and what are they going to say?
Friends of mine. They're
even
customers.
if they don't know what the heck movie you're talking about, they're going to be like,
I don't think you understand.
Hey, we love this movie. Give us that deal. I need some tires for my ride.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing like that going on over there.
Sure.
All right.
Jeez.
Sorry, I didn't mean to sidetrack it.
It's okay. I lost my train of thought.
It's easy to
sorry.
do in this movie.
As I said earlier, guys, we have a big announcement. It's our 50th episode. We've been at this for almost a year. We launched back in May of 2021. And just want to say, first of all, thank you. The response has been incredible. We're appreciative of every one of you that has been able to connect with us via email or has tuned in to watch the show. We just want to give you a little bit of a background on what's going on with us so you can understand what we're doing here. We've actually been renting studio space since the beginning, and we love the space that we're in. We love Bevan.
Absolutely.
And I'm not exaggerating to say that this podcast wouldn't exist without him, right?
Absolutely. 100%.
We wouldn't be here without him. We love these guys. But we're also looking to get into our own space, partly to save the cost of studio rental, but also in that we could greatly improve the quality of our video. Anybody that's tuned into our YouTube videos has noticed that, you know, we could definitely use with an upgrade of phone sitting on a stick in the corner of the room.
Sure.
I like it. But yeah.
So with that, you know, we are launching right now with the 50th episode, the Bad Movies Rule Patreon page. And that means that you can sign up for our Patreon page, become a monthly partner with us, and help us to raise some funds so that we can move and build out our own space as well as upgrade our video cast. And we only need to raise about $5,000. So we've got so much awesome bonus content planned. So for as little as that $5 a month, you can have access to bonus recordings. You can vote on upcoming movies that we discuss. There's going to be exclusive merch, all kinds of things. You can be just an all-around awesome person and help us out if you just love the show. You can find the page at patreon.com/badmoviesrule, and the link is also in the show notes and the description of this video. We greatly appreciate it, and you're going to love what we have planned once we are in our new space. So with that, we appreciate you, and on with the movie.
Da-da-da.
Wow.
Da-da-da-da-da.
All right.
So we could like get a dunk tank and we can hold polls for a month after an episode comes out. And then whoever gets the most votes on one of these divisive, whatever things here will get dunked in the tank for everybody to watch on that. That'd
right.
be awesome. I don't know which word I wanted.
That's all right.
That worked.
Well, that and you look like Biff from Back to the Future.
Well, that'd be awesome if that was true. That guy was in way better shape than me.
I hate manure.
So the movie starts off, and all we see is a dark and stormy night and a semi-truck running down the street and driving into San Francisco. And we see this guy who is eating a sandwich and giving a speech over his CB. It's become a famous speech at this point. It's the speech about Jack Burton and the Pork Chop Express.
That was podcasts before podcasts. When you just had a CB radio and just would talk on this, like, yeah, I'm here if anyone's listening, you know.
You're right.
That was the.
That's what he says when he starts, right? Jack Burton, I'm talking to whoever's listening out there, right? Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
I'm pretty sure he's talking to nobody, though.
Yeah.
Do you think there's just some?
Yeah, because if you listen on a CB and somebody starts talking with their mouth full, you're changing the damn channel.
I had a CB and I used to pick up, stuff on the roads and stuff like that. But I don't know.
Yeah, I used to know it by heart. I actually, when I was a kid, I wrote the speech out word for word.
Wow.
Nice.
And I don't know it anymore.
Even then, you were a devoted fan.
But
of the
even
movie.
then, like before it was cool to be.
That's like me and Monty Python,
Right.
The Holy Grail.
Yeah, I know you got that thing memorized.
almost the whole movie.
Right. So it's kind of weird because half the stuff he was saying I didn't understand, right? I'm like a 10-year-old, be like, I'm down the Pork Chop Express, and I'm, it's like.
It's the way he did it. It sounded great.
It's just the way he did. And that's the thing I think that people love about Jack is he's got this swagger about him that is not backed up by any sort of capability at all, right? It's like you said, he's basically acts like John Wayne with none of the capability of John Wayne.
Yeah. No, absolutely. He's got the panache,
Right.
and the essence of what John Wayne was.
Right, but John Wayne could back it up.
Right.
Yeah. This guy,
Right.
he had one trick. He was a one-trick pony, and that was it.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think this is the perfect introduction to the character, right? He's self-important. He's self-assured. He's, like you said, that's a great way of putting it, Joe. He's doing a podcast before podcasts.
Yeah.
I did get stressed out, though, when he's actually drove into the area where he's supposed to. It's like and I didn't used to as a kid, but now as an adult, he's like driving this semi through this like super narrow.
Yeah.
I don't know where that was, like some kind of market or something.
Some alleyway.
Some alleyway, and there's people everywhere.
Sure.
And stuff everywhere. And all I could think of is, how on earth is he going to get his truck out of there?
Yeah.
The things you don't think about when you're 10 years old watching this movie.
No, you don't care. Not at that point.
No. But this whole time I'm just like, ugh, what's he going to do?
Just shows you how sure he was of what he was doing, kind of. Hey,
Yeah.
anywhere.
Absolutely.
Anything.
Just stare him in the eyes and tell him the check's in the mail.
Oh my gosh. What was that story even about? I couldn't even figure it out.
I think it was just about getting money, making sure that people paid their dues.
Guy grabs you by the head, throws you up against the barroom wall, and he says, "If you paid your dues."
Yeah.
What? What does that? What do you mean? Yes, sir. The check is in the mail.
Like made his peace with God. like he's ready to meet his maker, and he's like, "Yep, my check's in the mail."
That's right. So he hangs out, and I don't know what kind of game they're playing, but he's basically gambling, it seems like all night long, with this group of guys that are hanging around this marketplace.
Oh, the game they were playing?
Yeah.
It's called Fantan.
Fantan.
Yeah,
Really?
it's a bean counting game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a Chinese game.
So they just, when he pulls up the ball,
It's how many are there.
How many are there?
You have to, I think it's like multiply it by 4s.
Because I know at one point they're yelling odds and evens and all kinds of stuff, and I've never been able to figure out exactly what that is. But I do like the idea that the whole reason he's even with Wang to go on this adventure is that he's just trying to collect a bet from him.
Yeah.
A ridiculous bet on top of it.
Right. He says, I'm going to chop a bottle in half.
$1,148 or something like that.
Times 2.
Yeah.
Double or nothing. And he tries to chop this bottle in half.
Yeah.
And this is where we find he's one trick. He's a one-trick pony, right?
Catches that bottle.
Right in his face.
It's all in the reflexes.
It's all in the reflexes. And he says, all right, tell me, call me up and tell me the story sometime. But in the meanwhile, pay up $1,148 times 2. Yeah, I don't got that kind of money. I didn't hear that, Wang. And so he goes with him just to get this bet and ends up sucked into this whole insane thing.
Well, and I feel like it really establishes quickly that they are friends.
Yes.
Like they are obviously long time, know each other. It's been some sort of game that they've been doing for a while now.
Whenever he's in town or
and then
whatever.
all of a sudden it's just like, you owe me money. It'd be like one of us, like, hey,
Right.
you owe me money. All right,
Yeah, but you
let's
know
go.
what?
Let's go get it.
That's
I
how I
think I'm
got
gonna
into
let
this
you go home.
podcast.
How about you give me money before you got to go?
Yeah.
Right. Wait, what did you say?
That's how I got into this podcast. I was betting with you
Right.
guys.
I was trying to cut a McDonald's coffee in half.
Yeah.
He caught
And
it.
he
Still
caught
hot.
Damn it.
It's still hot and full. Oh.
Said, I don't
It's all
have that
the
kind of money,
reflexes.
but, you can come on this show. And
I got an adventure. Let's go on one.
Wang he's like, I got to go to the airport first. And he's like, yeah, right. Or my dead body. Like, he's going to fly out of San
maybe.
Francisco to avoid paying him $1,100. Okay. But he's there to pick up a girl. Miao Ying, we get a little bit of an expo dump on the way to the airport that he came over, ahead of her to kind of earn the money to bring her over here. And he's worked his fingers till they bled and all that.
Talk about expo dump. The absolute wonderful thing about Kurt Russell is he is the expo dump.
Oh, yeah.
He adds
him and
so
the
many
lawyer.
in this
Yeah.
whole movie. He is the one reason, because a lot of movies they usually get a lot of that stuff out of the way in the beginning.
Yes. The
And I know,
exposition.
they talked. I caught a little bit on it on the fact that they, instead of just dumping it all in the beginning, they had his role basically just be completely just clueless.
Well, because at one point
and
he says,
stumble through the thing.
he says, like, I feel like a little bit of an outsider here.
Yeah.
Because he's supposed to be us, right?
Yeah.
Like, in that this is a world that all of these people inhabit and understand the inner workings of these different gangs and issues and Lopan and that whole thing. And then here's this truck driver from California that doesn't know any of it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of our in to the story.
But it's just a great way of doing it. That's it's one of the reasons why I love this movie.
Absolutely. So they get to, do you have something? Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I just thought it was a really funny way to ask to go pick up your girlfriend at the airport.
Yeah.
Just this whole thing with Wang, like, oh, by the way, we got to go pick up my wife to be.
That's right.
What? Like,
My
why didn't you
fiance.
just start out with that instead of doing the whole knife and bottle thing?
Like, why are you up all night playing ping pong or whatever it was you said it was? Flim Flam?
Fantan.
Fantan?
Damn.
Yeah.
The pork and beans game.
Well, he did say he should have got home and got 40 winks, but they go to the airport, and this is where we meet Gracie Law. who's also waiting for somebody, played by Kim Cattrall, who is Samantha.
Smoking beautiful in this movie.
Well, this is right after
I had
Mannequin.
a huge well, this is the first thing I ever saw her.
Joe, you didn't see her in Mannequin
No,
before this? Oh.
no.
Or Porky's?
Nope.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. So you were a fan.
I was. Yeah.
So was Jack.
I was a fan.
We were all, we were
So
all
was
fans.
Jack. Jack was
we were
like,
all fans.
Hey.
She's got green eyes, Jack. How can you tell from here? It's just like, no, not her. She's trouble. Like Wang, she already has a reputation in the
Right.
in the area.
Yeah.
And she's a lawyer, and her name is Gracie Law.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Ashley McTalkie news.
That was. She's a reporter.
Ashley McTalkie news. Nobody gets that.
What's that, Clint?
Yeah. This was how fortuitous.
Fortuitous. Yeah, look. She was very attractive in this movie. I'm not a. I don't know
Her
acting,
delivery
though.
of information to
Jack.
Jesus to Jack. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Kurt, but I was like, that's not right. Her delivery of information to Jack was just so overly
Informative?
Yeah, way too much.
Lords of Death, streets from or punks from Chinatown. This isn't good. What are they doing here? Right
Yeah.
now, let's just you telling the audience
Yeah.
Exactly.
why you should be
what's
afraid
going
of
on.
these people.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And so the Lords of Death show up to sex traffic a girl, basically. Right? I mean, they're literally there to.
Get this green-eyed girl.
Yeah, because we find out later they're not acting on any orders from Lopan or the Wing Kong or anything. They were just looking for a girl to sell.
Were they trying to get the 1-2 that Gracie Law was picking up? That was
the first one that they
Okay.
were. So they weren't like
because
targeting
from a camera point of view,
They just
it was like they were targeting her,
Right.
But then it was like, well, we can't get to her because Gracie got her, so we're going to grab the green-eyed girl.
That's all it was.
Okay.
They
All
weren't
right.
trying. They weren't specifically saying we're there to get Miao Yin, even though later on we find out that was the one that Lopan needed because of her green eyes, which we'll get into all that.
Yeah.
They were just looking to grab a girl, and so
see.
Jack inadvertently triggers this whole thing by saving because he saves Tara, right? So they give Tara. He says, "Why don't you mean you have a little talk, friend?" Turns the guy around. She gets away, and Jack he pulls out like all these weapons, start twirling them around. And Jack's immediately in over his head.
Where'd you
Yeah.
get that?
he's like, hold on, gets knocked on his butt, and then they're like, just grab this one, and so they grab Miao Ying. Which, if Jack hadn't gone with him to the airport, they would have grabbed the other girl,
Right.
and Miao Ying would have been fine, and Lopan never would have got her, and none of this ever would have happened.
Yeah.
That would have been a way better movie.
And so,
But that happens in every film. I mean, you could say,
Oh,
if
sure.
this person didn't do this, or if that didn't happen, there wouldn't be a film.
yes, but in this case,
So it's a trope.
Is it a trope?
Would
I
it
don't
be?
know if it's a trope,
Because
but
it's in every movie that does it that way?
well, I guess you could from a minutia standpoint, you could say, well, if this guy never got in his car, he never would have gotten in the car accident in
gotcha.
this movie.
If-
Like you could do
I
that to any
understand.
movie, but in this case,
If Stifler wasn't a douchebag, he wouldn't have had to save the day at the end of every American Pie movie. You know.
Right.
I see. All right.
I'm
I
just
just
saying
wanted to
that
hear
one
the trope
that
sound, that's all.
that one act.
Oh, you just want to hear the sound? We can do that.
Yes.
All right, that's out of the way.
Haven't
That
heard
one
it in a while.
that one act of stopping that from happening is what propelled the entire plot forward.
I understand.
Right.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for helping me out with that.
No, it's fine. And a lot has been made in kind of countless videos and podcasts about this movie, about the kind of the juxtaposition of Wang and Jack, in that that you anticipate Jack is supposed to be like the main character, the main hero, and Wang is like his sidekick is Tonto, whatever. Like, but the fact that it's really, when you look at the movie, like Wang is the main hero and
Yes.
Jack is the bumbling sidekick, right?
Sure.
He is the Robin to Batman.
He is really the Robin to Batman, but
Absolutely.
they shoot the
Where-
film like he's Batman.
Whereas any of us were to be involved in this situation, we would probably be the bumbling idiot. So he truly is our
Right.
eyes in the story of what's happening in Chinatown.
Right. And
Oh,
so
that's a great point.
I'm not disputing that. I'm not saying those people that have said that are wrong. But in defense of Jack Burton, I am going to try and kind of redeem the character here a little bit, because I think that, yes, while he's an incapable, bumbling idiot for the most part, there are a few parts in this movie where he really steps up and does some very brave things, especially for just a regular truck driver guy from California.
Well, and even in the
right
beginning,
off the bat.
Egg was talking about how they owe everything to him.
Sure.
Right. But even like that, even right off the bat, if you go by the story, because that egg thing, that's at the end, even though it's at the beginning. Like he goes to the airport and he tries to right this wrong. Now, yes, it starts the whole debacle from the get-go as far as a story perspective. But he's like, hey, they can't do that. I'm going to stop them. Like at first when they run past Law.
Yeah.
And they bump into her, like, that's when he wants to jump in. Hey, man, you got to say sorry or something.
Right.
He doesn't want anything not right. And at this point, apparently, he's still hammered as well.
Well, and so but then when they drive off in the
Trans Am,
IROC Z or whatever that was.
It's a Transmero Irocula Z-Bird.
There you go.
We got them all.
Yeah. When they drive past and that, Jack at this point could have easily said,
All right, I'm out.
goodbye, keep your money. Right, which he jokingly says later, but in this case, he could have been like, "I'm out." But what does he say? He says, "Son of a bitch must pay."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like Jack is there for his friend. That's loyalty. And later, right after that, as they're driving the truck and Wang's going off like, "How come it's not safe to walk in Central Park, huh? Or give a stranger a lift anymore?" And all this, he's like, "They got a clubhouse where they hang out. I can't ask you to go. Jack. Where is it?" Right? Like Jack is in.
He's done.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
It's Jack Burton.
If only we all had friends like Jack, right? That like if something like that happened to you, that's not a dig at you guys. I'm just saying in a general sense.
We didn't even get anything out yet.
No, in a general sense. I can tell the look you guys shared. And when I say we, I'm including the people listening.
Okay.
If only we all had a friend like Jack Burton, who when the crap goes down, is like, he's like, where is it? I'm in. Let's go. I'm here.
Absolutely.
So in that case,
Game's on.
Jack was brave and loyal.
Which then leads up to the worst game of chicken I've ever seen between a bus and a semi.
Egg Shen is driving around his tour bus in Chinatown in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And he's just
going around. And then there's Wang and
look at these buildings and everything's great. And all of a sudden here's a semi.
Yeah.
Although it is pretty great that he Tokyo drifts his semi into the alley. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Full brake lockup.
Full brake, skids it out. That's amazing. I didn't know you could drift semis.
Oh, yeah.
Well, have no load. You got a light end. You have a light back end if there's no load on it.
Oh,
absolutely.
See, I know this stuff.
There's actually semi-truck racing. It's quite impressive to watch.
And they drift these things, huh?
Yes.
That's amazing to me.
Did I just say it's real light when there's no load on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. He said that. And it's funny.
They drove into the alleyway, which is supposedly where the Lords of Death hang out, right? And so they're there trying to track down the Lords of Death, but they end up driving into the middle of a funeral.
Yeah.
For the Chang Sing.
What is this now? A parade?
Right. He says, no, it's a funeral. He's like, don't worry, Jack. These are good guys. Right. So they're starting to, again, more of an expo dump, explain to Jack, because he's our in.
Yep.
These are the good guys. These are the Chang Sings. And because Carpenter is such a great director and a horror director, most of what he did before this is horror movies. So they get that awesome reveal where the first time you see the Wing Kong is coming through his rearview mirror.
Yeah.
Coming through the fog, they're just whipping the knife around and stuff. And music picks up and he says, these guys, these Sing Dings, Chang Sing, they got enemies who wear red turbans. Like, these guys are animals, Jack. Like, it's just such a great reveal. That's all filmmaking right there.
And the fact that they're sitting in the rig and this whole thing is just going on around them. You have this like bird's eye view.
Right. I love how Jack pulls out his knife.
No, at this point, it's like, okay, I'm watching. I'm still engaged. You know what I mean? I'm not, aside from, like, all right, I really just didn't like the fact. Honestly, he's talking with his mouth full. I was off at that point. And I never
that one thing ruined the movie for you?
It's a huge pet peeve for me. Like, legitimately, it's just huge. I can't stand it. But, like, legitimately, I start watching. At this point, I'm still engaged. And then the lampshade brigade comes in. And I was just like, what the heck are these guys?
They're supernatural.
They got lampshades on their heads. That's ridiculous.
That's ancient Chinese garb.
Yeah, but before this,
I'm not buying it.
I got to tell you.
That's what they wore. Like, you think it's stupid. It's just, that's what they wore. If they were from or Scotland and they came in and killed you, you'd be like, that's dumb, they got skirts on.
No.
Like, that's what they wore.
It's an 84 Kenworth. They don't wear that now.
Oh, my gosh.
These guys are ancient, though. They're 2,000 years old.
I think it was a Freightliner.
We're talking about the three storms. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. All right. So hold on. I love that Jack just pulls out his knife in the middle of all this. So like, what the frick are you going to do, Jack?
Just before that, I cracked up because here you got guys with like swords and knives and bow staffs. And then you got this Mexican bandito kung fu grip guy coming out with like the bullet strapped on. He's
Yes.
like, check out my double gun action.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost like that was left over from the old Western version of the script, right? In a way, right? They're like, we're just going to leave this one part in. Or he forgot to delete that line.
Yeah, it was just this Chinese bandito guy. I mean, it was so great.
Yes.
I was like, come on. And then all of them had guns. Then it was an all-out gun war.
Right.
Yeah.
And Jack's got his knife out. And you're like, okay,
Who
cool.
brings a knife to a gunfight?
Again, it's all that bravado.
Yeah.
He's not actually going to do anything. And what I love is that there's dudes like hip firing Uzis and AKs, and dudes are getting shot right in front of Jack's truck, but nothing happens to Jack's truck. No bullet hits. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
But what I do commend, too, in this scene is I feel like all the fighting is very old school Asian movies.
Oh, yeah.
Like Kung Fu and like, all that style, Bruce Lee flicks, where it's just like the action is it mimics that so well. And I feel like that's just Carpenter style. Like, I mean, it almost kind of takes it back, but still puts it in a present movie.
Sure.
I don't know. I just thought it was really cool.
The fight scenes and all the
choreographed fights.
Thank you. All of that was fantastic. So hats off to that guy.
Yeah. No, Carpenter hired the right people to do the stunt team and all those guys. A lot of those guys I recognize had been veterans of these types of movies and had done a lot of that stuff. So it was really, really good. In fact, one of the Chang Sings, the guys in the yellow and black, the good guys, was the same dude that had that horrible knife fight with Van Damme in Time Cop, where he was just going up, down, up, down. That was one of the guys from Big Trouble in Little China. Yeah.
That's awesome. But this is when the three storms show up.
Yeah, so the three storms show up, right? We got Beefy Boy, Skinny Boy, and Raiden, right?
I thought it was asthmatic. It's asthmatic, Raiden, and the food processor.
And the food process. Yeah, well, they had their weapons were like, the guy had the cool, like, crescent. Those were back scratchers.
Those were back, yeah.
They're like, I have a bear claw at home. It looked exactly like he's like, with two bear claws. And he's going to scratch dudes' backs.
Wait a second, like the donuts?
No, the bear claw, there's a thing you can buy to scratch your back.
You scratch your back with a donut?
It looks like a bear claw.
No, it's like a bear claw. It's and
it's got like
an actual paw of a bear.
And it
like
it telescopes like a antenna.
Not a delicious pastry.
That doesn't do anything.
Bummer.
Now, so the three storms are these three ancient supernatural beings that do Lopan's bidding, right?
Thunder, rain, and lightning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
We joke when we say Raiden because the dude was straight up Raiden.
Yeah, he's
from
Raiden.
Well, I do believe he was a fan. Ed Boon.
Yeah,
he
so I
based a lot of that on there. Yeah.
I read up on this because people have claimed that that's what he did, and he said it's partly true, but not completely. He said Raiden himself is based off of a god from Chinese lore.
Sure.
That has that name, but the look of the character was like kind of a big, giant, pudgy guy, almost like a Buddha-ish dude coming out of his robes and all that stuff. And so he wanted a more like intimidating, muscular look, sleek look. And so the decision to put the hat on him, he said, came straight from Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
But the character of Raiden and the lightning and all that stuff existed before that.
And then I also heard the soul stealing from Lopan is also very Shang Tsung.
It is.
So
yeah. Could be.
Speaking about lightning.
Yeah.
I love 80s lightning effects.
Oh yeah.
They were good.
I don't know why, but they're always just fantastic. I mean, I don't know.
It's like the
That's all I
one
have to
thing
say
they
about
could do.
It doesn't look better now.
Clint, do
No,
you
that's
think
what
it
I'm
was
saying.
cool when he was grabbing the lightning and he lowered himself down into the street?
That was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty neat. I like that.
Like I said, I got no problems with this movie. Like, I don't hate it. It just didn't like your favorite movie.
But
no
somebody
way.
was eating a sandwich.
Yeah.
No.
No way was this your favorite movie.
It is my all-time favorite movie.
That can't be true.
It is true.
Mac, but I like you. That can't be true.
It is true. It is my all-time favorite movie.
This is where they run over Lopan, right?
Yes.
Run through. They drive right
through
through
him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Jack drives through Lopan. So Lopan shows up.
And
So
Lopan
these-
is bent
because
about
the
that.
storms
He's not happy.
the storms just basically start murdering all the Chang Sings. They try and shoot them, nothing happens. The storms just start chucking machetes at dudes and like
Got
you know,
the food
just
processor,
literally like
blades on
the spinning
palms.
forks.
Yep, spinning forks. You
All
got
that.
the back scratchers. You got the meat cleavers.
Lightning shouldn't even have a weapon, honestly.
He shouldn't.
Why does he have a weapon? Just zap everybody, right? Anyway.
He didn't charge the batteries. I guess I don't know.
But so Wayne's just like, get out of here, Jack, get out of here. And they just lay out. I love how nobody messes with the truck.
No.
The whole time
No.
there's this war. Nobody tries to get them. No one tries to slash the tires.
These
anything.
guys know who their targets are. Yeah, they are sticking to uniform on uniform combat.
But wouldn't you like with the guns? You want to get like high ground, so maybe jump up,
climb on the truck. Yeah, I don't know.
Use the truck as cover.
But they take off. They push through. The storms literally just kind of step aside. The storms don't even try and stop them.
No.
And then all of a sudden, there's a 7-foot tall dude in ancient Chinese clothing standing in the middle of the street, like literally beckoning with his finger, like, come here, come here.
Yeah.
And they just run right through him. And then he abandons his truck because he hops out to see, I just killed a guy.
Is he okay?
Is he okay? Because Jack's a good guy.
Right.
And the light starts shooting out of his face.
Yeah, the blue light.
He's like, out of his eyes. And you know James Hong is sitting there acting like there's no light there, right? So it's literally got on set just him going, and like they're going to add it in later. You know what I mean? So you got to imagine that was just hilarious.
It's kind of like Wanda from Marvel.
Oh, yeah.
When she does all the
have you ever seen the behind the scenes?
yeah,
stuff?
it's just her just like
just like doing these hand gestures.
and it just looks ridiculous.
You got to feel so stupid in the moment when you're doing it.
You have to.
But if you
trust
just
it.
fully go for it
Yeah.
and just know that it's going to look cool, it always going to turn out better.
And then, which leads us into Kurt Russell's new movie, Escape to Uncle Chu's House.
Jack is blinded. Jack is blinded by Lopan's light, and they run into the next alley. And
Hold on a second. With the whole blinding, what?
You mean slight blinding?
You get the Wang Chi was like, oh no, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
It'll pass. How did he know?
maybe, well, I mean, they know about Lopan's magic and
his
stuff,
Uncle
right?
Chu knows all the him
All
and
the
Wang,
stuff about
or
it.
him and Egg know all the stuff about Lopan.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, they have like this it's like they know all the secrets and the history
Like
of
when
him.
he was young, his babysitter was, blinded.
He knows everything
Yeah.
about Lopan.
By Lopan
Probably.
or something like
Yeah.
that. It was like, no, she's good. She was fine after
we
like
should just
30
splash
minutes.
some water on it. Put a
That's
little
how they
dirt
get. They
in
just
it.
took a dirty puddle and splashed it into his face.
And they were like, "Oh, I'm good
diesel
now."
fuel.
He had like 12 steps of information ahead of what he ever revealed.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like he knows where this is going. He knew this kind of thing is going on.
And there's a few times he even said to Jack, like, "Oh, they're exaggerating." It's like he's like trying to kind of keep him in the dark.
Yeah, it's like
For a while.
He'll buy some of this information, but he ain't going to take it all at once. The
Right.
outsider will not believe all of this magic and mystical happens
Right.
all at once. He's got to see it.
All right. And so one of my favorite moments of the movie is after he splashes
Splashes
the water
in
and
his
he's like,
face.
"All right, who was that? I just drove straight through, and the Lords of Death all turn their headlights on." And he goes, "All right, I'm going home. Keep your money." Right? Like, that's it. I know he's not serious, but they know Wang's name. They bolt into some building and they basically are like, "We're getting out of here," right? And they have to abandon the truck.
Yeah.
They just leave his.
They're like, "Just leave the truck, go."
That
Right.
poor truck.
The storms are still cutting guys up in the background.
Yep.
So the Pork Chop Express is
Yeah.
the truck. It gets abandoned in this alley, and I'm
Yeah.
going to step forward here.
Yeah.
Why'd they take it back to their lair? Why wouldn't you just leave the damn truck?
I don't know, they stole
What's
it.
the upside?
Maybe they're going to sell it. I don't know. Why did they steal a semi
The
truck?
weird part that I was thinking was I thought it was the Red Band Ninja Clan that stole it. So I thought
That is the same.
right.
Lopan's
So
the
I
same
think
group as
they were
them, yeah.
they would just steal cars and women and all that. They're just bad guys.
So
So
it's just for money, then.
I think it was like, hey, we got a semi. Let's
Just a
take it.
criminal
The guy
enterprise.
left it. Yeah.
What if they just needed an extra truck for their
For hauling
Who
people.
knows?
for hauling their
Jack-
stolen women?
And it appears that Jack is a business owner himself because the side of the door says
Jack.
Burton Trucking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right? So, Jack maybe is doing a little better than we think he is.
he's an entrepreneur.
That's right. And so they get back and
Escaped Uncle
they
Chu's
escaped
house.
Uncle Chu's house, right? And so they're back at this restaurant. They own I almost said a Mexican restaurant. The hell's the matter with me? They own a Chinese restaurant that I can't remember the name
he's in
of.
the
It was on
old
the back
movie
of the
still?
jacket that Wang was running around. And it's time to kind of regather their strength. And I think from a scripting and a writing standpoint, it was absolutely brilliant to intercut this scene with Jack trying to talk to the insurance company
Oh,
in the background.
absolutely. Because he's already annoyed.
And so while you're hearing the people at the table talking, you can hear him in the background. Every once in a while, he joins the conversation.
Yeah.
It was just brilliant.
Yeah.
Because it builds so much more tension.
He's kidding
Into the
Uncle
scene.
Chu. Or he's kidding Uncle Chu. He's kidding.
Yeah.
And
No,
then
I'm not kidding, Uncle Chu. Tall guy, weird clothes. First you see him, then you don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's under BURTON, right?
Yeah, right back.
Well,
into
of course,
his
there's a
conversation.
policy number, but it's in the glove compartment, right?
I don't
Just look
have
up-
my truck.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you about an accident. I don't want to hear act of God, okay?
You've quoted that line quite a bit.
I know. I love it. It's one of my favorites.
Part of your lexicon.
It is. There's so many. So one of my other ones, because I'll bring him up now because Eddie is joining us here. Eddie is one of my favorite characters in the movie. This is when Eddie walks in, like we meet Eddie, the new maitre d', right?
Yep.
And a whole lot more. Eddie is awesome.
Yeah.
I love this guy. And so there's a scene later on in the movie where Margot, who we'll introduce in a little bit, is just, I just must be so monumentally naive. You are.
Yeah.
I say that all the time. Like when somebody says something, I go, you are.
Yeah, no filter. 0 F's given. And he's like dropping it. It's just
great.
truth. Yeah.
So Eddie is played by Donald Lee, which, did you know he was on the World Security Council in Avengers?
No.
The guy that plays Eddie?
Really?
Yeah, remember at the end when they're going to nuke New York, you know what I mean? And they're like at the council and Powers Booth is there with all these people. Yeah. One of them is Eddie from Big Trouble in Little China.
When they're talking to
Nick Cage.
Nick Cage? Yeah.
Nick Cage, no.
Not Nick Cage.
Yeah.
Nick Fury.
What are we doing?
No, Nick Cage.
What are we doing?
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider. He entered in.
We're going to drop a nuke on New York.
5, 6, 7, A, B, C, D, E, F.
I've chosen to ignore your decision. I can't do it. All right.
Oh, I miss Bob.
Yeah.
So we find out that Eddie comes in. He's like, "That was your truck they stole, right?" They took it and basically tells them they weren't acting on any orders from Lincoln. They're just looking for a girl. This is how they find out that they took her to the White Tiger for a quick sale, which is basically just like a trafficking operation. It's a whorehouse, essentially, right? And so they have this brilliant idea to go to the White Tiger and to have Jack go in like some schlub that just wants to
I love that guy's
He
suit.
played that guy perfectly.
Oh, so you like that part?
Yes. Yes. He played that guy like that was humorous. I loved his take on that.
He comes
I
in-
didn't hate the movie.
Well, I love the whole hey, I got a great idea.
Right.
Next scene, big pink car.
Yeah.
boy, sure is raining cats and dogs.
Yeah.
The cab driver said, well, he told me that the White Tiger would,
I'm kind of in the mood for a girl with green eyes.
Yeah, like that's going to, like they're just going to be so stupid. as to
One
be
that's fresh off the boat.
oh, yeah, let me just go get her because
Yeah.
we just got one in, sir. No problem.
Cash or card?
Oh, gosh, cash, I guess. I mean, it's not deductible, is it?
Is that the same outfit from Used Cars?
It is.
It looks like it.
It was the exact same
swear
suit.
it's the
Now
same
that's a
suit.
movie I loved. We should review that one.
So that's the same suit he wore in Used Cars. He wore in that scene
Okay.
in the White Tigers. Yeah.
Miles of cars.
Literally until, almost. And then the license plate falls down and then they get the mile.
yeah, we got the mile.
Yeah, right. Perfect. So Miao Ying is being held prisoner at the White Tiger, but she's not made available to Jack. She's kept kind of tied up in a room behind some kind of secret chamber. And so
Right.
when somebody overhears Jack asking for a girl with green eyes, like, oh my God, I got to go back and check on her and make sure nobody's trying to get her. This is some shenanigans going on, right? But before Jack even gets too far with the girl, was he going to sleep with that girl? Because they put him in a room with another girl.
I already paid for it. You know what I mean?
He had to do what he had to do.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I know what you mean. My
getting the
wife gave me this
information.
tie for Christmas. And yeah, but then the ceiling is ripped off of the building
Yeah, and then the storms
and the
show
storms fly in, right? And here's exhibit C of Jack's bravery. Everyone else runs away. And what does he do?
Punches him.
Right in the face. Rain. He walks up to Rain.
Yeah.
Twice.
He mildly inconveniences him right in the face.
Right. I mean, it had no effect on
Yeah.
him whatsoever. But just the fact Jack had seen these guys just destroy an alley full of ninjas.
Yeah.
And he's going to just walk right up to him. And I love after the second time, he's like, all right. Like the little nod.
We're
and
good.
the,
We're good. I do have to say though, Rain is one of my favorite of all the storms.
Oh, yeah.
Just his overall appearance when he comes in.
Oh,
Every time
yeah.
he's got that like head tilted back and his
Right.
headpiece is kind of like half cocked and like pulling up
Right.
on his chin. He's got this like crazy eye look.
oh, and he didn't have many
Freaking
lines.
love that guy.
So, or he didn't have any lines, I don't think. Oh, no, he said a couple, you are nowhere.
Yeah.
But like for the most part, he said nothing. And it was
Yeah.
all just physical performance.
Yeah. Right. He's
And
my
then,
favorite of the
crazy.
Mine was Thunder. I enjoyed Thunder.
The asthmatic guy.
The guy that, yeah.
I just like I don't know which one it was, but I like the lightning dude for
That's
his,
Lightning.
That's Lightning.
Yeah,
Lightning dude was awesome.
No, he's great.
Because I like the effects on him.
Oh, absolutely.
Like you were saying.
And he wasn't eating a sandwich.
And apparently
No,
that the
he did not.
Rain's wig, we said it was a $3,000 wig, and it took him 3 hours every morning to get put into it with makeup. Like he had to be like stiff as a board, but by the time that thing went on, the actor that played
Wonder if it was heavy.
Rain. Oh, I'm sure it
Maybe
probably
that's
was.
why his head was always cocked.
$3,000 wig. It's crazy.
What is that made out of?
I don't know.
Camel hair.
Camel hair and like $2,800.
It's just nothing but eyelashes from baby seals.
Camel hair and $2,800. Oh, Clint.
Okay,
All
so
Very fun.
it cuts. The storm is flying. They take Miao Ying out, and the next thing that happens is another one of those lines I quote all the time. We literally just cuts straight to Gracie's office, and they're pulling green explosions, people flying in and out. That was not real. I want to talk to the cops. I want my truck back. And where the hell am I? And they just dump him in the lazy boy.
I love the line when Gracie's like, I'm coming with you. And Jack's like, yeah, I know. There's something wrong with your face.
Right. Because the white tiger, she's like, I can't go in there because they'll recognize me or whatever.
Right.
But Jack clearly wasn't actually listening.
Yeah.
Right? So he just says, I know there's something with your face.
Yeah, something with your face. I think we've all been guilty of that
Yeah.
with our wives.
But this scene in Gracie Law's office turns into the biggest expo dump of the entire movie.
True.
Right, where all they do is they bring up Lopan, and Margot, who I guess we didn't talk about, had just shown up. Gracie had called her in as she wanted somebody from the press to know about what was going.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I recognize that car.
Yeah, and so Margot's like, I don't know, the something People's Herald, right? And
Yeah.
she's gonna write a story. It's like her big break or whatever. But it's so they did this in such a ham-fisted way. It was so obvious. And like the second someone mentioned Lopan, Margot was like,
she perks up and delivers that line. I wish I had it in front of me. Do you have it written down?
well, no, I mean, it was just like David Lopan, who is the president of the National Orient Bank,
Yeah.
who owns the Wing Kong Export Trading Company, and who's so reclusive that no one's laid eyes on him in years.
That Lopan?
Lopan.
It's not a very
I'm like,
popular
oh my
Chinese name.
gosh.
Yeah.
And even the best part about it is even the characters in the scene
Yes.
are just like, okay,
good
let's get
Lord.
this.
Here we go.
Let's get this scene over with. She's yapping along, right?
This is her one of 4 lines. Just let her have it, okay?
Absolutely.
If we don't let her have this, we're not going home tonight.
And so Wang is
No
like ready to
sandwich.
storm. Wang is ready to storm the castle. He's like, we're going to the Wing Kong exchange.
Wing Kong, yeah.
And then Gracie Law does an expo dump. The Wing Kong exchange, the most dangerous cutthroat den of madmen in Chinatown.
Man, they laid it on thick in this one.
That's, yeah. The
They laid it
information giving was. Put it on text on a rolling screen in the background
Honestly,
for us.
something.
Just
But you know what?
something.
Whiteboarded up on the back.
It's going to take Cracker Jack timing.
Yes.
I got to ask you a question about this.
Yes.
First of all, do you think you just waltz in and out like the wind? It literally says, yes, that's what I'm going to do. And then later on, Wang's like, you think we could just waltz in and out like the wind?
Yeah.
All right.
Great callback.
It's a great callback. Yes, I thought that was your whole damn point.
Yeah.
They walk in, and their ruse is that they are telephone
Repairman.
repairmen.
We got to get to the gang box back in.
Well,
In order to sell that, they bring in
the telephone.
a phone.
Yeah.
That's how they're going to sell that they're. I'm clearly a telephone repairman. I have a phone.
Why else would I have this? I mean, seriously. There's no
Well, and
reason.
then when he sees the camera, he's like, it was rats last time. It chewed through the wires.
Right.
Yeah.
So my question is, if you were going to sneak into a place, would you just walk in with a toilet as a plumber? Since you're a plumber, you're just going to be like,
strap it right on my
you just
shoulder.
walk
And I
in?
say, oh, the plumbing here is awful. There's a toilet on 5th floor that's been leaking for days. We got to change it out.
I'm going to tell you right now, you could probably do that. If you just huffed a toilet in front of you, had your gear on,
Yeah.
and walked into a hotel and be like, yeah, I'm here to fix that one toilet in room 305.
Yeah.
They'd probably be like, all right, go.
yeah.
They'd give you a key card.
Yeah, they would.
The difference is it's not a criminal enterprise. I'm assuming these guys would want to hide what was happening behind those doors.
Well, and I feel like they knew that they were.
That's it, exactly.
Yeah, and I think at that point they were
too stupid.
Thought they were getting away with it, but they weren't.
They're too stupid to realize that they let them get in there.
Right. They wanted them in there,
Right.
That's what it is.
Because as soon as they got in the elevator, which even when the door to the elevator, the secret door opens, like, you did that, right? And he's like, I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't you at all.
The feet dragging through the dirt or whatever. Oh, there was 3 people here. Yeah.
Right.
2 people dragging a third.
Two people dragging a third. And so they get into the elevator, which closes itself off immediately. All right.
Down and then like 5 sub basements.
Yeah.
We're back up. We're back up the wire. And does this sound like a great idea or what? The wire's 20 feet long and it's covered in grease, Jack. Yeah, but it's real and we can touch it, so at least we know where we stand.
And then the water starts falling out. Yeah.
It just starts coming in.
And they're like, ugh. And I love that Wang's just holding the lighter until the entire, like,
until the last
just
second.
put it away. What are you doing? Like, you're not going to see nothing.
Right. We need to get your truck back. I'll find another one. Right as they're drowning, and there's these bodies that are just
yeah, when they
hanging.
finally get the
door open, they swim out of
that's
the
not
elevator.
possible to do underwater.
The pressure would allow that.
Definitely goes to the horror film.
Oh,
You know, like what he does. You know?
Sure. Some of those were pretty gnarly.
They were pretty amazing.
They were gnarly.
Like that was good stuff.
Yeah, and so they surface after swimming out of the elevator, and there's Rain looking through the grate at them, and now they're cut to them in a torture chamber, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in wheelchairs.
In wheelchairs. And Exhibit D of Jack being brave and awesome is Wang is getting tortured. And Jack's like, why don't you come over here and fight like a man, right? And just keeps trying to get the attention off of his friend. Which is just awesome. I love this guy.
I seriously thought Rain in his, like, normal gear looked like a straight up Chinese Pulp Fiction. Like,
when he's wearing his regular
version of
suit?
Pulp Fiction, yeah.
Yeah, right?
I was like, oh man, he would have been so much cooler than John Travolta.
Quentin Tarantino took a lot of stuff off of this movie.
Oh, yeah?
A lot of John Carpenter stuff. His T-shirt, Jack Burton's T-shirt that he's wearing in what was that movie?
Death Proof.
Death Proof. It's framed in the bar.
Yeah.
Oh,
In the back. Yeah.
That's
And Kurt
cool.
Russell
I
was
gotta go
in
back
that
and
movie.
look. Yeah,
Yep.
I got to go back and look at that.
So you see Kurt Russell as stuntman Mike in Death Proof literally sitting at the bar, and behind the bar is Jack Burton's shirt.
Oh, I got to go back and look.
It's like, come on. That's great.
Where did you think they had to reprint that, or was they had to go somewhere to go find
You can
it?
buy them. My brother's
Maybe
got...
Kurt Russell had it.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
My brother's got the Jack Burton tank top from Big Trouble in
does
Little
he?
China. He was going
Nice.
to wear it today when he was going to come in, but
What happened to him? Why is he not here?
He should have
I
let me
don't
borrow
know.
it.
I
I'd have
think
wore it.
he had to wash his hair.
Could you imagine me and Bob's tank top?
That would have been awesome.
Bob got one of those $2,000 wigs.
Hey, if I ever need to wash my hair and you
Yes.
need me here,
Yeah.
I'll be here. 'Cause
appreciate
it only
that.
takes a couple seconds.
If you'd like to send Bob some hate mail, the email address is thisshowIstrash@gmail.com. And let me tell you, I got a doozy today.
If you disagree with anything I say, it's Bob's fault.
It's true. Bob should have been here.
That's right. It's true. It's true. So at this point, I want to say this before we get into this. They meet Lopan. They wheel in Jack Burton and Wang. Wing. There's a lot of of hard names.
I watched this once, and it was last night, and I committed 3 names to memory.
Yeah, no, it's okay. The scene here where Lopan comes in, and you had the only time you'd seen Lopan at this point in the movie is the 7-foot tall roadblock.
Yeah.
As Jack describes him.
Telephone pole.
Right. And this little feeble old man wheels out into the room.
Yes.
This exchange is my second favorite scene in the entire movie.
Indeed.
The dialogue is so good.
Yes.
Jack doesn't give a flip
No.
about who this guy is. Now we find out Lopan has been alive for 2,000 years.
Yeah.
And he's like an ancient Chinese warlord that was cursed to live forever with, no flesh and blood, right? And until he finds and marries a girl with green eyes that can also survive the ceremony of the burning blade, which is weird as hell, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, but whatever.
But this is what he's been waiting 2,000 years, and you can't find one girl that fit the bill. Come on, Dave, you must be doing something seriously wrong, right?
There has been others. There's always others.
When Lopan rolls up and he's trying to ask Wang about the girl, right? What province is she from? Father must be a holy man. And Jack just leans in and goes, you got a tongue, Dave? Ask her yourself. Are you crazy? Is that your problem?
Well, yeah, I love when
this dude will murder you.
Absolutely. And when he first rolls up and he's just like, he's like, we've come here to see David Lopan. And he, huh? Yeah. And he's like, well, then you have succeeded, Mr. Burton. I just love
him?
that.
This guy?
This guy?
I don't understand. Lopan is like, nothing you will understand. Yeah, dude. It's such a great scene. He's like, it almost seems like Jack at one point is starting to play into it, right? Like, you can go on and rule the universe from beyond the grave.
Yeah.
Indeed. Or check into a psycho ward, whatever comes first, huh? And that was it, right? Lopan, at one point, Jack I think it might have been bravado and bravery, but Jack also just might not have realized who he was messing with.
I was thinking at this point, Jack still doesn't believe the magic and the mystic.
Right.
Well, it's at this moment, too, all I could hear was, we are noodle folk. Broth runs deep in
Well, it's
our
the same
veins.
actor, yeah.
It's Hong.
Yeah. You are the dragon warrior. Yeah.
Through that whole movie, all I heard was Lopan.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know.
So that movie was ruined.
My daughter loves Poe and the whole series.
Yeah.
And it's just like every time I hear his voice, I'm like, oh, yes.
But I do want to give some praise to James Hong because he, even as the feeble old man, he was legitimately intimidating. When he turns to him and says, if you have any influence over your youthful friend, you better exert it now. Otherwise, I'll have you both brewed off to the hell where people are skinned alive. Is that simple? Understand? And he does it way more intense than others did.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Jack's like kind of laughs like, no, he means it, Jack. Right? Like this is what Wang is trying to explain to him. He says he means it.
Yeah.
Like he's literally, and later on he says, boil them till their flesh falls off.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like might seem excessive, but remember what they were doing 2,000 years ago in ancient Rome and China and all of these places and these warlords and
that was
emperors.
Tuesday.
We're like, that was Tuesday.
Average
for
Tuesday for these guys.
That's the kind of stuff that they were doing.
Yeah, but he like I said, even the makeup. I mean, he had his fingers, and he was kind of like,
Oh, the blue veins in his
man,
forehead. and,
he looked great.
yeah.
So at this point, Clint, are you still enjoying the
No,
movie?
I enjoyed the movie the whole way,
bullshit.
sort of.
Okay.
No,
Sorry, I
I
swore.
I kill you.
So the Red Band Ninja Clan comes in and starts fighting.
Well, almost. Because at this point, Margot and Gracie
Oh, you're
and
right.
Eddie
It's
show up.
intertwined with all
Because
that, right.
Lopan sees them on the monitor. He's like, this really pisses me off.
Yeah.
And Thunder comes up to the front desk. I can help you. And just ushers them into the elevator
Yes.
Yes.
to
Yes.
just gas them in the elevator.
Yeah, and then split them up, right? Because then he
Right.
just takes Eddie
girls.
up to the room, right?
So what ends up happening, because I know lots happen at the same time, but after they're meeting with Lopan, they wheel Jack and Wang into a room where there's just like skeletons hanging on the walls.
Yeah.
And then eventually Thunder brings Eddie in to put him in that same room.
Right.
The girls are all kept somewhere else. We find out later there's lots of girls that are in prison there. Again, I think this is a sex traffic ring.
Oh, you think?
No, I mean, I didn't mean that to say. I'm not sure. I mean, Larry, let me rephrase that. This is definitely a sex trafficking ring.
Yes.
And the girls, Margot and Gracie are taking there. And so Jack was not fully incapable. He's the one that breaks out of the wheelchair
Yeah.
Right.
and gets Wang out of his wheelchair.
You know, you're going to go through all this trouble. You do all this. You put these people in these wheelchairs all strapped up and you don't check them for a knife.
Well, it's in his boot.
It's a
Right.
secret knife storage
a
compartment.
secret knife boot.
Hey, what's behind that Velcro strap right there?
That's fair. I'll give you that. That's fair. But
I'm just saying.
That's it. That's what I was out of the movie. I'm done.
Everybody's
like-
wearing Velcro boots.
yeah, it's probably 2-3 feet thick, probably welded shut and covered with bricks by now, right? Like
Yeah.
on the outside, they knew they weren't getting out of there. The only reason they got out is because Thunder comes in and opens the door
Yeah.
to hang Eddie. And Jack, again, he knows, same thing when he punched Rain in the face. He knows what these guys can do.
Yeah.
Just jumps straight on the dude's back.
With the knife.
With the
first
knife.
Yep.
First time total
First
fail.
time total failure.
Second time he's got his hooks on. Let's go. Go where?
Right, like how am I supposed to get off of him?
Yeah.
And ends
I
up
love that part though,
blown off onto the wheelchair.
because he breathed in air at a.
The asthmatic. His chest starts to expand and a button even pops on his
So
I
shirt.
know that.
His
Okay,
feet
so
exploded?
so that's his superpower. What's his superpower?
His superpower is
Floating.
that he can
No.
Bloating.
Floating.
He's also, I think,
Pufferfish.
he's also the strongest of the three.
Yeah, he's the muscle.
He's the muscle.
But he's so muscle bound. He's incapable of doing this. He can't grab somebody behind him because his arms won't go back.
Yeah.
He's a pufferfish. Yeah. So
yes, he's a pufferfish.
He's a pufferfish.
Anaphylaxis is this guy's superpower.
He should have been called
swelled
Wind,
up.
not
Jack flies
not
off,
Thunder.
lands in the wheelchair, which is now going down the ramp backwards, and he's trying to grab the wall, whatever he can. Takes out 3 dudes with his while it's going that just happen to run. What's going on? Let me run out in the way here. Gagoosh. Doesn't stop the wheelchair because apparently nothing can stop it.
Except for a little half a pile of brick.
That's right. Hits this half a pile of brick as it goes into a well and is able to catch himself.
Dead stop.
Dead stop, halfway hanging over, and powers up and gets out of there.
it's not a very
Nice
good
job,
safe
Jack.
drinking water, by the way.
Is that drinking water down there?
If
a
it's
well.
a well, I mean, just saying, if you're gonna have a reliable water source, I wouldn't be throwing bodies down there.
So they go and they give the guns, and then that funny part was like, hey, I'll trade you. And Jack wants the bigger gun. They all get the guns, and they go over to try and rescue the imprisoned girls, right? And they got to fight the girly guards that are there.
Yeah.
Except the girly guards aren't super girly.
Nope.
No.
They womp on them pretty good. One of them has a smoke stick.
Yes. Yes. The amazing smoke bow stab.
Right? It was amazing.
Well, and right before this, I love the whole. There's 2 scenes that I really like that are quick.
Yes.
The one where they do the little jokey like trading the guns.
Yes, well, yeah, that's why I'd say.
Yeah. And then right before that's the power of the pinky nail. And Lopan turns the whole. He turns into the 7-foot being again.
Right.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, he's got the 2 pinky nails that grow, and then he crosses them. And
We do get a little moment where we get to see Lopan transform from the old feeble version to the 7-foot tall version.
And that's that same light, when he goes from one to the other.
Right.
Yeah.
But
which
he's not.
then finally shows that he is.
But he's not flesh and blood
old
when he's in
fable
that form.
Right.
Yeah.
He just goes through walls
That's
and
his
stuff.
avatar state.
He can't. And Miao Ying is like, Miao Ying is in this room and he can't even touch her. His like hands go through her,
Right.
and all this stuff.
So he goes from the old man to a what were those 80s worms that lit up?
Glowworms?
Glowworms. Then he turns to a glowworm, and then he goes to Lopan.
A 7-foot glowworm?
Yeah.
And then
You're right.
it's.
When you
I'm just trying to paint the
I'm
picture.
assuming that's
So
a
he's like
fake
a
head, but they
butterfly?
did. It was really well
Yeah,
done.
I'm just trying to paint the picture for the people at home.
Yes,
like that's what he goes from this old feeble old man to a glowworm.
to a glowworm. You're right. I don't want to leave out the middle stage, the glowworm stage.
That's very important.
You shouldn't have to explain this to the people at home if it's such a great movie. They should have seen it.
Most of the people that are listening to this have seen it, I'm guessing.
I'm assuming there's going to be a few people like you.
Yeah. But the majority, I'm sure, have watched it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the bow staff gas.
Yeah, the smoke
sorry.
stick, the girl gets. But while Eddie and Wang, get out here, I'll blow his head off. I'm like, why would they care if you shot Eddie? First of all, that's like the first thing. Wang walks up with a gun to Eddie's throat, and he's like, I'll kill him if you don't come out here. Okay.
Just a diversion.
Just a diversion while Jack is sneaking in to try and get the girls out of their cages, right? I love how Gracie, who's just never shuts up, is like hogtied with her like mouth
Which is
tied to her
great
feet.
because it just must mean like she was just backsassing people. And they were like,
Right.
tie just a rope in her mouth, please.
Margot's like still got her pen and notebook and can talk, and she's like writing,
Yep.
and then here's
She's
Gracie.
got a computer.
Gracie's
like,
got a
full
computer.
office and shit.
They gave her a secretary.
Yeah.
Right.
And Margaret just all
Gracie's just hogtied.
stapled to the ground.
Exactly. And Jack doesn't know how the heck he's going to get them out, but he does eventually just shoot the locks. And here's the thing. They're trying to be sneaky. Every girl screams at the top of their lungs as soon as he lifts the locks.
Yeah.
"Ah!" And they all just start, I'm like, oh my gosh, everybody shut up. Because immediately here come all of the guards. The entire
All of
wing
them.
Kong
How many?
is now after them. All of them.
All of them.
All of them.
And so Eddie and Wang are able to defeat the female guards. At the same time, they get the girls out. And there is, I don't know, seems like 25 to 50 women running out of there. And when Margot goes, that way maybe, right? Like it's literally the line. And they don't even know if where they're going is going to get them out. But they run into this room where there's a pool. Like, everybody jump in. How the frick would they know that
That's the
pool
main sewer
is going to
system.
get them anywhere?
Right.
Yeah.
Or that there's even an outlet in the pool. It's not like a clear pool,
They all swim through this little
like tunnel.
culvert from pool to pool, from well to well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was the first time I learned that bullets do not travel well in water.
They do
That's
not.
true. They don't.
Like that was the one, talk about all the weird stuff that movies like to push. The,
Yes.
The anti-physics, anti-stuff that we always moan and groan about. Like for the first time, it's like, oh, once they hit the water.
a lot of energy dissipation right there.
Yeah. So that was a nice little nod,
Right. And one of my favorite lines happens in the water. He's like, will you stop rubbing your body up against mine because I can't concentrate when you do that. It's just
Well,
like,
he busts out of the water and just plants a big one on her. For a moment, they look at each other, and then she's like, "Hey!"
right. He's got it's obviously fake knife like in his mouth as he's swimming,
Yeah.
And the line of the movie, at least the one that's ended up, the one that I seem to repeat. I know I've said this a few times already, but this one really is because I've forgotten about it. When he comes out of the pool, this line defines Jack Burton better than everything. Everyone's already out of the pool and in the other room. Jack Burton swims and goes like, all right, everyone relax, I'm here.
Yep.
That is Jack Burton in a nutshell right there.
Yeah.
They were fine,
Douchebag.
by the way.
He serves so little purpose. I mean, he's got his stuff,
Self-importance.
but
Yes.
yeah, he's
Oh,
not
big
as
time.
important as he thinks he is.
What I love while they're going through the whole sewer system,
Yeah.
they're like picking up heads.
Right, trying to find Jack.
And she accidentally picks up Dodger's head from Garbage Pail Kids. All right, that's just a callback to the sewer joke.
Because Jay was in the sewer.
Jeez, you're shenanigans.
You guys.
Oh my gosh. All right, so they get upstairs, which is basically almost right where they came in with their stupid telephone gag.
Yeah,
right?
the green door or whatever. Yeah.
They're like going to open it up. He's like, all right, at this point, officers, a false front. We're going to run out here. Everybody just follow me. Follow the leader. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Opens the door. 15 ninjas. Right there.
Closes the door
Just
immediately,
closes it.
locks it. He's
I
like,
think we're trapped. And he starts saying, hide. They only saw me, right? And so everybody hides. But this is, again, why I love Jack. Like, he's there with his friend. Like, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
Wang turns to him and is like, you and me, Jack, do or die. Door busts open, and it's like, we're going to do this.
Just a melee.
Right.
yeah.
And Jack spends the whole time getting ready to fight, and by the time he's ready to fight, Eddie's done.
Well, he shoots like 3 of them when they come in the door.
Right.
And then his gun
Is out.
is out.
He
and then
wasted
his
all the bullets.
knife flies away from him when he tries to pull it out. So you're right. He spends the whole fight
Trying to get ready to fight.
trying to get ready. Jumps out at the end. Ha! Everyone's and Wang was doing some work, man.
yeah, he was.
That was awesome.
I liked him in this movie. I
Yeah,
thought it
and
was a
for
lot of fun.
1986 or whatever this was,
Is that your stance? Is that your bold stance in this movie?
I love Wang.
Dennis Dunn.
All right, 2 points, Kurt.
I also
I don't know
love
where you're gonna
Wang.
Lob that one up for
Wang
you.
is my favorite. Okay,
I love Wang.
I do too.
Yeah, he's my.
No.
It's my favorite.
No, he is my favorite.
Oh, my sorry.
he.
Wang's my favorite.
Yeah.
Dennis Dunn, I was reading an interview with him, and he was just amazed that he had even gotten this opportunity. He's like, you don't understand. In the mid '80s, parts like this, main parts like this in big Hollywood movies, did not exist for Asian people at the
No,
time,
absolutely
right?
not.
And this guy, this part that he got to play, was awesome.
So this movie's a trailblazer.
It was. It really was.
Even Kung Fu was famously taken from,
Right.
a Chinese or,
Right.
yeah. Bruce
David
Lee
Carradine.
to Carradine.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Like, yeah, no, we're going to get a regular white guy to do this job. It'll be great.
Going.
And it was.
Yeah.
But it could have was.
No.
better.
Right. Sure.
Going back to the knife fumbling thing.
Yes.
Was Naked Gun after or before this? Because it reminded me of when
It was
when he was trying to get his gun out of
Yes.
his leg holster and he couldn't get it out while the big firefight was going on.
Yes.
So I almost feel like maybe that was
It might have been
Ripped
because
off
this
that
was after that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good callback. Yeah. So they're able to get out basically. And by the way, there was way less girls when they got up to that door.
Oh, absolutely.
They lost a few.
They lost. I mean, there was like 7 girls.
Some of them did not follow them to the sewer.
No,
They're
some of them
probably
couldn't
still
swim.
down in the sewer right now.
It's just bodies that we didn't see.
Where do you think they got all
15
those
of them
half?
died back there.
Where do you think they got all those bloated, tied up bodies from? I mean,
I
heard
don't
his
know.
escape attempt.
I
I
don't
heard
know.
Jack killed a guy.
One of them was sucked into a tube and turned into an insect that killed a guy later.
As they're able to escape, right? Egg Shen has got his bus waiting out front, and the officers are trying to shoot him up, but they take off.
Yes, the most bulletproof bus I've ever seen.
Yeah,
in my
it's
life.
amazing.
Yeah, except for
Right?
the windows.
Except for the windows. But before she can get out, Gracie Law is captured.
Snag.
Oh yeah, with the
What the
creepy
frick
eyes
was
and
that
the
thing?
painting. Yeah.
This like all of a sudden, and this is the thing I love about John Carpenter. He's like, yeah, I know it's halfway through the movie. We're going to introduce some random crap.
monster.
Right here, just a monster that you. Guess what? Now there's monsters.
Congratulations. Down, there it is.
Yeah.
Right. No explanation.
Nope.
Yep.
Just like,
I'm John
here it is.
Carpenter. Here's monsters.
Here's a monster.
That monster sets us up for the sequel.
That's true.
This is my
That
motif.
never happened.
That
Yeah.
never happened.
Well,
Yeah.
don't.
This is my MO.
And
Not
so
mine, but John Carpenter's.
yeah.
Lopan decides that he's also going to keep Gracie because Gracie also has
Green eyes.
green eyes. That's right. So
With green eyes.
at this point,
I need to write that down, dude.
Egg Shen, the old guy
Eggshell.
that drove the tour bus and is the expert on Lopan, right? And he's part of the Chang Sing, and the Chang Sing follow him. They're going to go back with Jack and Wang this time, but so this time they're bringing help. They're bringing some ninjas of their own. They're bringing Egg Shen, who himself, we find out, knows sorcery, right? And they're getting prepped. And Jack is just sitting there in the restaurant just sharpening his knife, right? And this
That's
is
what you
Margot's.
do. We learned this in Cyborg.
Yes.
That's the thing.
Right, and he even made a callback to that. I thought of Bob when early in the movie when Jack's like, he's like, they got this place where they all hang out, and Jack's like, sharpen their knives. Like, yeah, that's literally all the bad guys do is sit around
Sharpening
like in
their
Cyborg
knives,
and
yeah.
sharpening their knives.
Absolutely.
And so Margot has the best line she has in the whole movie. She goes, call the police, Jack. You're not a one-man army. Like, she just sees him sharpening the knife, and she tries to tell him what everybody else knows. Like, just call the police. like you're not going to do anything. But Jack is like, Gob's got better things to do than get killed. And we're doing this, man. We're going. We don't need the police. Hell, Lopan probably owns the police.
Probably.
Yes. Absolutely.
It's also super helpful that Egg Shen has a fire pole into the subterranean underworld
Oh yeah. Yeah.
in his shop.
Yeah.
It's like not even in the basement. It's like literally behind his desk,
Yeah.
right? They're just like, oh, let me open this door.
He had to move some files, a crate of crate of turnips out of the way. Let me.
Right.
Mildly inconveniences decor.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
right.
now they get help from the Yellow Band Ninja Clan.
That's right.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
yellow
yeah.
band. That's the Chang Sing.
That's right.
And okay,
Chang
we got to
Wing-
talk about
Chang
this.
Wings.
Oh my gosh, we're already at an hour 20. All right. We got to talk about this.
Okay, we're ready.
Because right after, when they go down the fire pole, but before we see what happens or how they're going to sneak back into Lopan's lair through the subterranean underworld, we get treated to the ceremony of the burning blade. that they
This
have
is
to
gangster.
subject.
This is hardcore stuff.
It's hardcore.
This
Can
is
we
hardcore stuff.
Okay.
right here.
All right. I am a huge Big Trouble in Little China fan.
Yes, me too.
I want to skip over this part.
No, we can't.
Wait,
Because
I want
it's
to
so
pretend
weird.
like this doesn't exist. I really.
is this before the
It's
gun?
the only.
This is
Yes.
the little hypnotic dance of
This is when he has to put them through to see if they're worthy
Right, I just don't remember that.
to be. Yeah. So here's the ceremony. Okay, I'll do the fast version, Joe, for you. Okay,
Fast version.
Thunder, you wave your knives around and karate chop the air. Rain, you do a sword dance, and then they're gonna grab the swords. Everybody use the force. And we're gonna lift them up. The girls touch the demonic light bulb, and then we can get married. Right? I mean, that's
Yes.
that's about
That's hardcore.
They touch the savage dragon
You
heart.
cannot. Regular people can't live through this.
no.
But they just
No.
They just reached up and grabbed an
And meanwhile-
incandescent light.
And meanwhile,
says
Lightning
75
sitting
on
back
it.
there not doing nothing.
Well, he kind of helped him do the force a little bit, but he really just kind of hung back. But later on, Lightning does like electricity to himself so hard that their eyeballs roll back in their head.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They,
What if it was-
they smog out their eyeballs. Yeah.
What if this whole thing was just Lopan who couldn't reach the light bulb?
Can you turn that out? It's really bright.
You just need someone to go up and wiggle the light bulb.
So really, there wasn't a ceremony. Like he could have married them, and it didn't matter.
You know, I was gonna say I forgot to mention this before. I think this whole thing, honestly, the way this movie really was,
Yeah.
like I said, the main character, what wasn't Kurt Russell? The main character is Lopan. He is just
He just needs a light bulb change.
Just a poor.
He's a poor old man looking for love.
Oh, okay, sure.
That's all he's
In
trying to
all
do.
the wrong places.
He's
That's right.
looking for love in all the wrong places.
Maybe the light bulb's too hot for one woman to handle.
Right.
And
It's,
it's a love story with Lopan.
it's like that famous joke. How many women does it take to screw in a light bulb?
It's two, obviously.
It
One-
takes-
2 and 3 storms and a Chinese warlord.
Battle chestnut.
We figured it out. How many women does it take to change a light bulb?
All right.
We're getting letters. We're getting letters about that.
The boys get into the facility through the sewers, and some giant monster, which I don't even know how we can even touch on this. Some giant monster just randomly comes out at one point and eats a dude. Again, at this point, John Carpenter's just throwing stuff at us. Like,
I bet I love Kurt Russell's.
Yeah.
He's like, what is that? You'll come out no more.
We're not even going to explain it to you.
What won't come out?
They don't explain it to Jack because they're not going to explain it to us. That's the point, right?
Yeah.
They're like, you don't get to know, so you don't get to know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's not coming down anymore, though. Don't worry about it.
And so the boys get into the facility, and Egg is like, wait, hold on, I missed the big expo dump scene. I didn't get to be in that scene, so I've got to give you some more exposition, even though the movie's almost over. We all know that he's got to get married to appease the god of the East and become flesh, but then to appease the emperor, he has to kill her. Like, y'all didn't know that. Ooh. But he's going to have to sacrifice this girl.
Yeah.
And Wang's like pissed. He's like, no, that's my girl. And Egg's like, it's cool. I brought my magic juice. And it's true. This is literally what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all sip from the juice.
The magic juice, the tingle juice. And
You're right.
And Egg he says, only a dream can kill a dream. Now, I've watched this movie so many times, and I never had this thought until today, but I have a theory. I think Egg Shen is also really old. He says to him, only a dream can kill a dream. Right after that, he says, I've waited for this a long time. Today, the evil dream will die. Right?
So, like, he's been going toe-to-toe with Lo Pan
for a long time.
many
Chinese
years.
yin and yang, back and forth.
Yeah, and we find out later, like, you never could beat me, Egg Shen, he says to him, right? Like, they've got a history together. Yeah. And literally, a few minutes after this, Egg Shen is yelling, I am the past! Come back to haunt you, Lo Pan! Man, that's literally a line of his in the movie. And I know they never say it explicitly, but I have a theory
That's a
that
good catch.
Egg is really much older.
Yeah.
I mean, he
He's
owns
like
the whole
good
block.
version of Lo Pan,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah.
He owns the whole block. He says the things in these bottles are priceless. They've been around forever. I mean,
Yeah.
do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he knows the lore.
He knows all that stuff.
Because he was there. He lived it. He
Right.
used it.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Can we not forget the Guardian?
No, that's literally what the next thing was. You talking about the floating meatball?
Yeah. I was calling it the floating potato with eyes, but
Potato.
I like yours better.
Like John
meatball.
Carpenter's like, I know there's only 20 minutes left of this movie, but if you think we're done introducing brand new weird crap, then you're wrong.
Bring in the meatball.
I got 20 minutes and I just fit 3 monsters in here.
Right. There's this float. What did you think when the floating eyeball? It kind of looked like Meatwad from Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Yeah.
Hey, baby.
And the thing had like a weird tongue.
Yeah.
It just would lick its face.
But it had an eye at the end of it.
If you needed some kind of mechanism, the whole point of this thing is to serve as a mechanism for Lo Pan to be able to talk to Egg Shen before the actual fight.
Yeah.
And so this is the way they're able to do that.
Yeah.
You couldn't think of a different way to do it than the floating eyeball monster.
Maybe a telephone?
I don't know. Right? He sees him on the CCTV and just hits a button and it's like Lo Pan or Egg Shen.
I thought it also looked like a Garbage Pail Kid.
It did.
It did, yeah.
Which was nice too, because then it sets up for the wedding, and you've got pretty much the entire cast of Mortal Kombat. You got the floating head of Garbage Pail Kids, and then you got Beastman from Masters of the Universe showing up.
Right.
That's good.
And you got a 6-demon bag.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's all you can have.
He's like, great, a 6-demon bag.
That's
what
all
is it?
you're allowed.
Like Kurt's like, what? Like, I'm supposed to know what that is.
Yeah.
He's got wind, fire, all that sort of thing.
It's your carry-on. That's all you're allowed. a 6-demon bag.
Jack is such a regular dude and such a blue-collar dude. This is part of why I love him so much. That he's like, there's this ancient mysticism going on. These 2 sorcerers are talking through this meatball, and he just shoots it in the face.
Yeah.
He's like, well, you never know till you try. Right. Jack doesn't know.
But the thing is, he does exactly what we want him to do in a way.
That's what I'm saying.
Because I was wondering, what if you just shoot it? Right. And then he did. I was like, well, there you go.
There you go.
And it's true. You never know till you try it.
Yeah.
That's good life advice in general from Jack Burton.
For some things you know before you try. Yeah. It's like, don't do that.
They find Lo Pan's empty office, and they're all like, we shouldn't be here. It's obviously a trap. But he's like, no, he's about to take his bride. He's too busy to care. And they drink the tingle juice.
The tingle juice.
Which is, I guess, supposed to give them, says you can see things no one else can see. You can do things no one else can do. It's like a power-up, basically, right?
Yeah.
It's like, right before they go into the final fight.
Pre-workout.
They got to like it's pre-workout and cocaine.
pre-workout.
Thank
Bob.
you.
It's
Sorry.
cocaine and pre-workout.
I am
Way
Bob.
to be.
But basically, it's Egg's way of like, we got to level the playing field. You're going to fight against storms and things, right? Then this is much better than the thumb kiss from Megaforce, by the way.
just
It's
want to
the
introduce
Chang
the-
Si thing.
Why don't we mix them?
There you go. The Chang Sing symbol with the thumb kiss.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's when that comes into play,
right,
which I
perfect.
love.
Yes.
I did that a ton when I was
Oh,
a kid.
yeah.
I did the little.
And I love how
hand
Wang's
symbol.
like, takes a little bit of the tingle juice and he's like, God bless America. Right? Here's to the Army and the Navy and the battles they've won.
Well, and in that
Yeah.
scene, Kurt Russell's character was not having any of it.
No.
So, but who's the main?
Egg Shen?
No, the other.
Lopan?
No,
Jack Burton?
Wang?
Wang?
Thank you.
I love Wang.
Knowing that Jack Burton doesn't deal with that crap, just does a nice little American
Yeah.
toast speech.
That's what I'm saying.
and gears it towards him, and then he's
Right.
like, yes, may the
With the wings of liberty never lose a
yeah.
feather.
See that? I just love that little part.
Yeah, it's great. I'm not making fun of it.
No,
I just
I
love
know
that in
you're
the
not,
midst,
but I just wanted
in the
to point
midst
that
of
out.
all this, we're like, let's take a couple minutes and say, America rocks.
America.
Right in the middle of
that
our
was
kung
the
fu
80s,
movie.
man.
It was the 80s. So they get up to the wedding, and the place where they're gonna have the wedding is actually kind of cool. It's like a mix of ancient and modern. There's like the typical Chinese architecture, but there's also like neon lights and an escalator from the mall. You know what I mean, right? Like
JCPenney
coming out of like this giant skull.
Yeah.
So it was like a cool blend of eras, right? 80s.
America.
I thought that was
ancient.
Castle Grayskull.
And these girls are.
It's traced in green.
I made a Castle Grayskull remark last night while I was watching, but those girls were done up to the nines.
Oh, the brides.
Yeah, the brides
And the
were-
full-on ceremonial red
Garb.
with the headdresses.
Really, really ridiculously good looking.
Yes, they were. They were.
And then
Miao Yang.
Lopan sticking some needles in people.
Yeah, so like I said before, they had been basically made catatonic. So as the girls are being brought down to the altar to be married to Lopan, their eyes are completely white, right? And they're in a trance. And so they're done up to the nines. They put them up on the altar, and Lopan is now about to marry them. And the guys kind of come into the back of the room. No one can see them yet. And Wang and Jack are both like, come on, he's right here. Let me shoot him. We'll grease him right now, right? And Egg had to tell him a couple times, like, wait.
Wait until he becomes flesh.
Right. Then he's ours
Yeah.
for certain, right? Like I know you want to get him because he's stabbing this needle. By the way, if you can see her wince, he pushes it in too hard. She's supposed to still be catatonic. And I think James Hong just
yeah,
wants to
she
push too hard and she
flinches or
just
whatever,
starts
yeah.
like literally in her face starts going, "Ugh."
Well, you see her kind of like shudder, like, oh.
Yeah, right, exactly. And finally, like his fingers start to bleed and he's like, oh, I'm flesh, right? And then,
He starts licking his. Yeah.
but then the Guardian spots Jack and them, right?
Yeah, and then starts talking to.
Wang stabs the thing in the head, and Jack goes, "Look out, guys!" and shoots the gun off. Like,
Into the ceiling.
here's the start of the fight.
Yeah.
We're starting. Let's go. Knocks himself unconscious
Yep.
immediately.
Yeah. Big piece of stone comes down off the back of his head.
But the thing is, if he wouldn't have done that, he wouldn't have survived.
Yeah, maybe he
He
would have
would
just
not
been
have
killed.
survived that fight.
No, probably not. Because he's not capable of fighting any of those guys.
He's not.
Right? And even once he wakes up, the ceremonial guard like is going to come kill him, and he just pushes the knife through his boot.
Yeah.
And then ends up stuck under that guy for the rest of the fight.
Yes.
Right? And so
Which
that's
is a
it.
great comedic moment.
Oh yeah, he's
Because
just
they
stuck
cut
there.
back to him and he's like,
come on.
this is unreal.
Well, I should say he had a face off with Thunder in between those two things.
Oh, yeah, and he shatters his gun.
He takes his submachine gun and
My daughter and wife walked in. They were out getting stuff for the banquet today.
Yeah.
And they walked in at that point, and my daughter's like, how the hell do you shatter a gun? You know, it's like, I got nothing, babe.
The dude breathes heavy.
he breathes heavy and he does that.
Come on.
It was really cold. I don't know.
Yeah. Wang starts doing some like anime Matrix type stuff. That
Yeah,
sword
him
fight,
and, him and Rain.
that
Oh,
was
my gosh.
awesome.
Yes.
That was way ahead
So
of those
great.
other movies. They were doing that stuff in the Matrix where they're both jumping through the air,
Yeah.
fighting each other.
Oh, yeah.
That was 15 years later. And here they are doing it in this movie and doing it well. It looks good.
It did. It did.
It's not like it doesn't look like Buckaroo Banzai where you're just like the whole time you're like, oh, this looks dated and crappy and terrible. Like it still looks good.
Same
No,
time frame.
absolutely.
Same time frame within 2 years of
Yeah.
each other.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just goes to show director.
That's what I'm saying. You got
And-
W.D. Richter, who wrote the script, a good screenwriter.
And cinematographer as well.
right. But now you got John Carpenter, W.D. Richter doing this other one. You kind of see the difference.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure at this point, too, John Carpenter's already got his own cast and crew of people
sure.
that he probably uses regularly because he knows he can get the job done.
Then you get Egg. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, what was the budget difference between the two, though?
Yeah, I don't know.
25 million on this
No,
one.
yeah, you're
same
probably
time
right. I
frame.
didn't think about that
Buckaroo
either,
Banzai
I don't know how much of that went to
25
Kurt
mil.
Russell, though. That's the problem. I don't know
true.
how much.
Yeah, because at this point, he's already a
He's a
star.
big star, yeah. He's already done Escape from New York and The Thing and some other stuff. So, but I love how Egg ends up playing Mortal Kombat with Lopan. That was cool, right? Right? And he's even like literally doing the button thing,
Got the Nintendo Wii going on over there. Just
A-B, BBA.
right?
oh my god.
Left, right, up,
That's
down, up,
literally
down.
they're
Yeah.
playing a fighting game in
Yeah.
the middle of this actual fight.
It made me really think of the shorts from.
It did.
Doesn't it? It's just the purple light, the
Yes.
green light. They hit each other. Oh, force this way. Oh, force that way.
Yes.
Yeah. And then they both end up even. Like, oh.
What I did love is when Egg Shen pulls the freaking Uno reverse card on Lightning and just was like
Yeah.
with the fan, just shoots it back at him, and he even lands. And he's like, "What the frick?" just happened?
But Scott Pilgrim versus the World ripped that off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just saying. I'm not
true.
actually saying that they ripped it off. I'm
No, but I mean,
you
it
know,
could have been.
it is a
homage.
callback. It's
Influenced
just
by,
you know
yeah.
they
Yeah.
got that same kind of anime fight.
Oh.
mid thing. It's
Main
just cool.
thing.
love
That's
it.
true.
Wasn't that great little moment when Wang lands and he looks
Yeah.
at Rain and he gives him the little like
Little
eyebrows, like,
Like his Rain, like looks at him like, "Well, you should not be able to do this."
Yeah, and he's like, oh, I can't.
Oh, guess who can
I
do
drank
it?
some juice.
And then Wang kills him. He defeats Rain in a
Wang-
straight up fight.
Wang killed the guy.
He did. He did, though. I'm telling you, Wayne was the main hero of this movie.
He was.
He
Nobody
was-
doubts that.
Nobody doubts that. And people have said it before. So we're not making any new revelations here. But I do want to talk about, as we kind of get to the end of the movie here, the best scene in the entire movie. Remember, I said the other one was my second favorite scene because
It's
this
like- I
is
think
the
you said
best
this
scene.
about 5 times.
No, I said the other one was my second favorite.
Okay.
Remember?
Okay.
This
You
is
can have
the
as
best.
many as you
You
want.
remember? You were there too.
You can have as many as you want, James.
Wang runs up the stairs, and Jack and Gracie grab the elevator after almost being accosted by the monster, and they all end up upstairs where Lopan has Miao Yin and Thunder is with him, right? And he's like, I want to keep her as my wife, but I don't have Gracie anymore, so now I've got to kill Miao Yin to appease the god of the East and become flesh, right?
Yeah.
Jack walks in and like a boss
Like
with
a
lipstick
boss.
all over his
Which
face.
I think is the greatest.
Oh, it's on his teeth, you know?
It's on his teeth.
You guys are making out wrong.
And he says, is it too much to ask?
right.
Thunder Lopan's like, kill him for me. And I wrote this because I love this so much. He says, won't solve anything, Dave. Too many people around here been dropping like flies, and where's that gotten us, huh? Nowhere. Fast. Yeah, you know what old Jack Burton always says at a time like this?
Who?
Jack Burton, me. First of all, 2 things. Who quotes themselves?
Yes. Yes.
This self-indulgent douchebag.
That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Right.
But here's the moment and that's all fun and well and good. And yeah, it's Jack being Jack, and that's funny. Okay. But when he says Jack Burton, me, and Wang flies into the room,
Yeah.
giant somersault, lands next to his friend, and it's the look that the two of them exchange with each other. Like, it's like the ultimate bro moment in the movie. He looks at him, he looks at him, they give each other the nod, like, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
Me and you against these, like Thunder and Lopan, we're going to go.
Yes.
Right? And they have that nod. And then right after that, he smiles and he goes, old Jack always says, what the hell?
Yeah.
And they both go at it. It's such a great, but forget like what happens right after that, but just that moment between him and Wang,
Yeah.
like, and we're going to do it. And Jack, tries to land a couple punches, but it's really Wang that gets Thunder to chase him.
Right.
Yep.
Which is hilarious.
Absolutely.
He's
I like when
getting
he's-
so angry that he can't catch him.
I love it when he stops and there's that bust sitting there. He's like, and
he just
matches
chops it.
and then moves on. Oh my gosh.
Just because he's so angry, he
Yeah.
can't. Wang is just doing handsprings away from him through the room in the background. You see him chasing each other back and forth.
Chucking stuff and
Furniture is flying. He can't catch him. So Wang's not even fighting him.
no.
He's just frustrating him.
Right.
Yes.
Cat and mouse.
Right? And in the meantime, I mean, it's just the iconic part, right? Where Jack takes the opportunity, he pulls out his knife, and he's like, I'm going to throw it at Lopan, and he misses.
Yeah.
Jack picks up the knife.
Lopan.
Yeah.
Oh.
What did I say? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Lopan picks up the knife, says, it's a good knife. Goodbye, Mr. Burton. And at this point, now we all know what's going to happen because we've all seen it. But the first time I saw the movie, I did not remember or even think about back to what had happened, his quick reflexes. Yeah. And so Lopan throws the knife and Jack catches it immediately and chucks it directly back into his forehead.
Yeah. There's a moment before that he looks at Law.
Yeah, Gracie.
And he looks at Gracie and he's like, oh, well. You know, she's like so just like, well, what the hell did you do that for?
Nice,
now you don't have a knife at all. You know, like why would you throw it?
It's a great buildup.
Yeah. And then like he throws it back, catches it, blasts him right in the forehead with it. Dude's alive for 43 seconds. He's flesh and blood for 43 seconds, dead.
At an ancient Chinese warlord at the hands of a truck driver from California.
American truck driver.
That in and of itself is the most incredible part of this entire story.
This is why this movie is great.
That's what I'm saying.
Clint.
Right? And he just turns to her and he says, cool. It's like he doesn't go like, oh my God, I did it, or freak out or anything. He just turns to her. It's all in the reflexes. Like he knew the whole time.
Yeah.
Do you think it was John Carpenter or somebody's idea to keep the lipstick on?
Well, she wipes it off his face.
No, afterwards. But this whole
during his big heroic moment.
Oh yeah, he still looks like a buffoon. It's fantastic.
He's got lipstick smeared all over his face.
This idiot doesn't even know.
That
he looks like a clown.
That's what I'm saying.
See, but that is his character.
Right.
He doesn't know.
We're all in on the joke. We know he's a douchebag.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it like in a level, almost like Tony Stark was a total douchebag, but in like
I love that guy.
A lovable way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But whoever's idea was to keep the lipstick on was freaking brilliant.
Yes. Oh, 100%.
I've never seen it done before or after.
Because they never did that stuff in the movies, right?
Never.
The hero was like the hero.
The hero was the hero.
Wasn't like anything about him that would take him down a notch or two.
You were always supposed to love the hero.
Right.
I think.
But he was lovable.
You guys love this guy.
Yes.
But I think legitimately he's not the hero. It's the side hero story. And that's what you said early.
Yeah.
But I was like, we're not supposed to love this guy.
So do you think you don't like it because you were...
I didn't like the guy. I literally didn't like the character.
Yeah.
No.
I love him.
We're going to go to the end and you're going to ask good movie, bad movie.
Okay. We'll go.
Well, at this point, Thunder comes in and he sees that...
he gets so sad that he explodes.
It's an incredible scene.
Yeah.
I mean, this is Carpenter pulling on his special effects stuff from The Thing and all of that, right? And just
steam blowing out of his nose.
How they do that, it still looks incredible. How they were able to have this to the point where it's just like, you're right, steam shooting out of his nose.
Look,
I don't think he's gonna stop.
Yeah, something out of a Tom and Jerry show or something.
Right.
You know, just I was in here.
His feet go blow up, and then
I wish we'd have heard just a little.
There you go, right?
But no, we got this big explosion.
And then lettuce is flying down the hallway.
The lettuce.
At this point, Raiden is the only one that's left, right? And Raiden's like, burn it down. Like, this is literally what's going to happen. And he's got this really kind of Michael Myers walk down the hallway.
Sure.
With the burning chandeliers or whatever
falling behind him.
Yeah, that was actually really cool.
The cinematography is a step above.
For such a campy movie.
What I was going to say, for the schlock that this kind of movie would be in the 80s, Carpenter elevates it through just his filmmaking prowess at every step.
Yeah.
Right? This is why it stands above a lot of these kind of weird, culty ninja movies that came out around the time. I think.
This is no American Ninja.
No. Gosh, no.
Well, I got to tell you, I don't understand the building codes on this building because you got people that are maybe 6 foot at most.
Yeah.
Maybe let's just say Kurt Russell, 6 foot.
Yeah.
6'1".
Sure.
And he's hopping from one ceiling to the next ceiling to be able to jump up and get up there and pull himself up.
Well, he drank the tingle juice because I used to think about this. Because I always had the same thought, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's quite the vertical jump that Jack Burton has.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I mean, he's not playing in the NBA. He's a truck driver. But then I just thought, well, maybe it's the tingle juice, right?
Possibly. I'll give it to you.
But yeah, I agree that it was noticeable.
Yeah,
right? You're just like,
absolutely. I would have liked to at least seen maybe like a lift wing up, and throw him straight up, a little bit more of a. Right. I'm just going to jump up here and.
But Egg Shen shows up with like this pulley system out of a harpoon gun or whatever, and is able to evacuate them through a hole in the roof before Raiden can get to them, and they drop like a flammable statue on his head or something. Like he bursts into flames when he gets hit with a statue. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
I'll take it at this point. I'll take it.
Yeah. That's his weakness.
That's stone,
not statues.
So So the one
Doesn't
guy's
fit through the hole in the floor.
Yes.
the one guy's weakness is a sword to the torso.
I think that's everybody's
which is pretty
weakness.
standard.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
The other guy is
Sadness.
sadness, upsetness.
of his boss.
He doesn't
dying.
know how to express his anger. His anger management.
He bottled it up.
He bottles.
Yep.
You gotta let it out.
He blew up.
You just stuff it long enough. A therapist would have been helpful for Thunder.
Exactly. Yeah. So he had
Needed an
emotional
Agent
damage.
Storm.
If Lopan had been
Therapist.
ahead of a business in 2020, they would have had therapists on staff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it would have been different.
I feel like we should smack a sandal down and yell emotional damage.
Emotional damage. Oh, I don't have a button for
Give that guy credit for that.
Yeah. Thanks,
Yep.
John.
And then the
What do
final.
you want? You want more?
No, it's a fart button.
Oh, you want the fart button?
No fart
No, we're not
button
doing
for that.
farts.
But then Raiden's weakness is a statue to the face.
To the face.
And
sense.
that was standard as well.
That's
I know.
standard. Yeah.
I think most
don't
people
know.
We've seen
suffer
it
from
before.
a
Even
statue.
small
All right.
statues swung hard enough.
So
Bullets don't even hurt him though.
they find Jack's truck.
Whatever.
Side note: Raiden dies.
Yeah.
I think all the Chang Sings died too because just Egg and them make it out. Like all of their yellow ninjas.
Yep.
Yep.
None of unless they got out a different way.
They went out the sewer.
They went out
and
the
they're all
sewer?
stuck. They
Okay.
don't know where they're going.
They found
wandering.
They found the
Find the
old
ladder.
prostitutes.
to this day.
Maybe they didn't exist and they were just a figment of the tingle
Maybe.
juice.
But they find Jack's truck.
Whoa.
He finds the spare key, starts it up 6.9 on the Richter scale, blasts through the door, and they're home free. They did it, guys. And they have this cool little party scene back at the restaurant where Egg is like, time to take a long vacation. Nothing or triple. Wang gives him triple the money instead of nothing or double. So basically, he comes out of this whole thing with about $3,500,
Yep.
right? Which in 1985,
You leave
it's like
Jack
coming out with
Carpenter
10 grand,
alone.
maybe.
Yeah, it's about 10 grand.
Yeah.
You leave Jack Carpenter alone.
That's right. Jack Burton.
Jack Burton.
Yes.
Carpenter. I'm an idiot.
No, you're good.
No, that's true.
Wrong movie.
But then there's
Wanna
this really
redo the line?
interesting. There's a really interesting moment between him and Gracie where, he says, maybe it's time I settle down, sell my truck. She's like, I couldn't have that on my conscience, right? And he's like, maybe she goes, maybe if you just get a bigger truck where we could, stay in it together. And he's like, I don't know. Eventually, I always rub everybody the wrong way, and I'll think about it. And he walks past her, and Margot says, "You're not even going to kiss her goodbye?"
Yeah.
Nope.
Nope.
It's just I always found that really interesting. Like,
Yeah.
most movies don't make
don't
that
get the
decision,
girl.
right?
Yeah.
Like, there's always the kiss at the end, and they get the girl, and they walk off together, right? But this idea of Jack just
That's hero stuff.
That's the Han
Yeah.
Solo, Leia, I love you. I know.
yeah, right,
It's that toss off.
right.
Hero.
And so just as you
Jaded
think
look.
Jack has maybe finally ascended to a new level of competence,
Nah.
he walks out into this dark ass foggy night and puts on his freaking sunglasses.
Yeah.
Right? He comes, we shook the pillars of heaven, didn't we, Wang? And he's like, yeah, we did, Jack. He's like,
No
all right.
horse crap.
Yeah, and
No
he's
horse
like,
crap, Jack.
Literally, it's so foggy you can't see a foot behind him. And Jack turns around and he puts the sunglasses on and he just starts walking into the fog. You're like, nope, he's still a moron.
Yep. Right back onto the CB and
Right back
away
on.
he goes.
And the monster we find out is on the back of his truck.
Yep. Bad movies rule. I just put sunglasses on.
That's a power move. Hey,
Yeah.
it's a power move.
We're inside of
Right?
a building right now, but I got sunglasses on.
He just pulled the power move with Gracie. He's like, no, I'm not going to kiss her. And the ultimate
Nope.
power move, which he learned from Discount Ric Flair and Winners Take All, is the sunglasses on in the fall. Well, actually, that was a year after this. So
Yeah.
whatever. Well, that's Big Trouble in Little China, you guys. And so, as we
what a
normally
great
do,
movie.
yeah,
Nice.
great movie. As an aside, we're already an hour 45, so I think we're going to skip the little things, guys. I apologize.
When he pulls the gun out,
What's
and it's
that?
the Dirty Harry gun. That was a funny scene to me. That's the one
Oh,
scene I
Egg
saw
Shen.
when I was young
Oh,
and made me kind of want to see the movie.
gotcha.
Yeah, that's all right.
I got you.
We can skip that. I think.
Sorry. All right, so as we always do, you guys, we are now going to give some awards to Big Trouble in Little China. And so we start, as we always do, with the Will Patton Award for intensity. And as we've always said, it's an acting award, but not so much like who was the best actor, but who was the most intense, as Will Patton is intense in every role, 100% in everything he does. Who you guys got?
Villain.
Lopan?
Lopan all day.
Yeah, how can you not go, James?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought about I'm
James
trying
Hong.
to think of something else.
Well,
Nope.
I almost gave it to Egg Shen
Yeah, he's decent, but he's got some funny
because
spots.
he's got some funny spots, but some of that stuff, especially at the end, right, where he's I am in the past, come back to haunt you, and he's
for sure.
Stuff was
But
really
it's not
really intense.
every scene.
But even as when he was Lopan, he wasn't super intense. When he was little old Lopan, he was freaking scary.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, so like on that, like I will have you brewed up to the hell people are skinned alive. You like that, in and of itself almost wins the award.
Yeah.
Just right there. Yeah. All right, so if we're all in unanimous there then for James
we're good
Hahn.
with that.
All right, and so our trash can full of dirt award is an acting award that we give to the person that we.
Ooh, shut your face hole.
Yes, I knew that was going to be a good one. Keep going. Your guys' time to vote. I know I'm not going to win. I'm still putting it out there. He was the only character in the movie. I hated him.
James, your jaw. You need to pick up your jaw, buddy.
Hated him.
Are you all right? Are you okay?
You hated him is not the same thing as it was a shitty acting performance.
I hated his character. I don't know.
You're not getting what trash can full of dirt is.
Yes.
I think I would have enjoyed it more.
It's who is the worst actor in the movie. Not whose character did I hate the most.
What's the difference?
I think there's a clear difference.
Let's just start on this side of the table.
I can't. You can't.
This is Bob's fault. I'm going to do all this. It's Bob's
Gonna
fault.
come in this room
Don't get mad at me. Get mad
and
at
say
Bob.
that Kurt Russell is the trash can full of dirt award winner
Hated
for
him.
Big Trouble in Little China, and I'm supposed to just sit here and go, okay, interesting vote. Let's move on.
Yep.
I will not let this stand.
You don't get a choice. It's my vote.
Go
Every
ahead,
vote is worth one.
This show is trash at gmail.com.
Every vote is worth one.
Yeah, we don't have to have this guy back on again.
Right.
You're gonna. What are you seriously gonna give Jack Burton,
You better
Kurt
not.
Russell,
Come on.
your
You
don't have to
vote
worry.
for
We'll-
trash can full of dirt?
We're not going to accept it.
This not just is only. It might be his best performance he's ever had in his
This
career.
happened in the last presidential election. That
I don't
my
care.
vote didn't matter also. So
Nope.
It's not about your vote not mattering.
Nope. Pick another one. I won't stand for it either. Come on, Kurt. What are we doing?
This.
Are you going to let him pick it?
I am, because it's a freedom. There's a freedom that we have
James,
here.
me and you on the mountain.
Nope.
Well, we're going to die on this mountain.
It's my vote.
It still outnumbers.
I
Bob's
can't
fault.
believe that you would do
This
that.
is Bob's fault. Blame
It's not
him,
Bob's
me.
fault. You
Yep.
made this of your own free will. It's not Bob's fault that you
Yep.
picked Kurt Russell as the trash can full of dirt.
Got to do it. He should show up if he wants his vote to
You
be
can't.
different.
You don't have to do anything.
I'm giving you Bob's vote.
You honestly think in a movie where there was like Margot and Kim Cattrall and all the other people that Kurt Russell gave the worst performance in the movie?
He made the movie the worst for me.
Let's just move on, James. It's like talking to a fist.
This is
My brain doesn't even understand how to process this.
this is worth it all.
This is.
Usually when I get this upset, I pull a knife on somebody.
So my vote is somewhere between Miao Ying and Margot.
Well, Meow she had literally, they gave her nothing to do or say.
Yeah. Well,
So I agree she did terrible, but I almost thought about voting for her too. And you know,
My vote's Margot.
Margot's pretty bad.
She gets my trash can full of
They
work.
both were bad. That's not a wrong answer.
yeah.
No. But
I had Kim Cattrall only because I just thought she was overdoing it a lot. Like,
I thought that's what they wanted. So I feel like she was doing
Yeah.
her job.
Yeah.
I had Margot and then I changed it to Kim, but I could easily go back to Margot.
I said go back to Margot.
I wasn't thrilled with either of their
Miao,
performances.
yeah. Miao Ying too.
Okay.
All right, hear about this.
All right,
I think
Margot.
my trash can full
Which
of
one's
dirt
Margot?
award. Wait, hold on a second. My trash can full of dirt award goes to Clint Bush.
All right, I'll take it. Man, I'm in the movies now.
This guy got a flip flop thrown at him for picking Andy Griffith in his top 3, and
Yeah, but
that
I'm
is
smart enough to make sure you weren't wearing flip
That
flops.
in and of itself is so not nearly as awful as picking Kurt Russell in Big Trouble in Little China as your trash can full of dirt award winner. This is the worst take anyone has not only had on this podcast, but in any podcast that's ever been recorded since the dawn of time.
I'll take it.
I feel so vindicated.
You're good now.
I
You're
am
good, man. You're solid.
I still get got hit with a flip flop. But sure,
That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just smart enough to make sure he wasn't wearing flip flops.
Well, I didn't know I was getting a flip flop thrown at me. man.
What's
I
next?
did have the benefit
So you're
of
welcome.
your.
You're welcome.
Please tell me who your top 3 performers are.
You want mine?
No.
Lao Pan,
Just give them to me. James Hong. Okay.
Wang.
Dennis Dunn.
Love that guy.
Yeah, he's great.
And the Egg.
Egg Shen.
Yeah, love those guys.
Okay, good for him.
Those were great. None of them. Kurt Russell.
Kurt, who would you say is your top 3 performers? Rescue me from this hell.
Number 1, as in the best, Kurt Russell.
Lies and slander.
Number 2,
Yes.
Wang.
Yes.
I love Wang.
You can take a hang away from
And then number 3, I'm going to go ahead and Mr. Lopan.
Sir Lopan. All right.
Yep.
We had the same first 2.
Oh,
I had Kurt Russell number 1.
and number 2.
And number 2 was Dennis Dunn.
Okay, and
Okay.
what's your number 3?
I actually had Donald Lee. That's how much I liked Eddie. I put Eddie as my number 3. I love that guy. I mean, nothing against James Hong. He did awesome.
No.
But I just want to give some.
I just felt like he was such a fun villain, and
He was great.
and he was just as quotable as Kurt Russell. In this
No,
movie.
he obviously gave a better performance than Eddie did, but I take this more as like what 3 performances.
were your favorites.
I don't even know if I could say that. I just really, I knew no one else was going to put him in there, and I just wanted to give him a little bit of love.
No,
because
that's
I,
totally fine.
I thought Eddie was great. So.
He went, yeah, he did.
Maybe we should start adding a new one, which is what actor do you think went above and beyond his role?
Yeah.
Or how about this? Maybe an unsung hero.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe.
Okay. My top 3.
Yeah.
We're going to go 3 to 1. So we're going to go
Yeah, number 3.
James Hong.
Okay.
Number 3. Okay. Number 2, Kurt Russell.
Okay.
Okay. Number 3, Dennis Dunn. Why? Again, the fact that he actually played the main character, the low key
Yeah. Yeah.
main action star
Yes.
in a film in the 80s.
100%.
That I got to give.
It's
it to him.
amazing. You got to give it up to him.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So we have to
Very good
ask.
point.
We have to ask the question, guys. We always do. And Joe, we'll start with you. Was this a bad movie? Full stop. Was it a bad movie that rules, or was it a straight up good movie?
It is a straight up good movie, other than the ceremony with the flaming swords.
Yeah.
We don't want to talk about that.
That
Other than
almost belongs in like a worse movie, like American
Yeah.
Ninja or Buckaroo Banzai
It
or
does,
something like
it does.
that. But yeah.
we don't talk about that. But
fine.
other than that, blah blah blah. I got my blinders.
But
up.
other than that,
It is a
Straight
great
up.
movie, straight up.
Okay.
Period. Done. And we're gonna skip that guy across the table.
oh, yeah, we're not going to skip it.
Nope.
But I understand the
I
desire.
think you're going to be surprised though.
But go ahead.
Good movie, man. Love
High
it.
five.
Straight up good movie.
That's what
Love
it
it.
is.
I think it's no secret to say that I'm going to say that it's a straight up good movie because it's
High
in my
five.
top 5 movies
High five.
of all time. Thank you for turkeying me.
Wow, that's the second time that's been out today.
Clint, what do you think?
Objectively, this is a good movie. The cinematography is good. I like it.
What the hell?
No,
is going on?
I think the cinematography, the action sequence is good. I didn't like it. It's
But you
not
still
a bad.
think it's a good movie. You know
I
what?
think it's a good
that doesn't
movie.
make any sense.
Clint,
No,
I'm
it
gonna-
does.
I'm-
It's a good movie because it's shot well. The story is engaging. I just didn't like it. It's not my kind of movie. I'm never going to enjoy this movie.
Clint, here's what I'm going to tell you. I at least appreciate you going outside your box.
Yeah, it's
Because
not a
most
just
of the time
straight up
you are
hatred.
just like,
It's a good movie.
I hate all these movies we pick. I am devastated
not
by
true.
watching this. Well, I'm just saying there's a lot
this
of
one
them
is
that you've
actually
been.
a good movie. There's
But the
enough
fact
stuff
that
in it
you
that's
looked-
good. I just didn't like it.
The fact that you looked at it like how you always say James looks
Yeah,
at movies.
exactly.
I'll commend you for that at least.
This is like you saying I like McDonald's because of the color scheme.
No, that's ridiculous.
You hate the food, you hate the service, you hate the parking lot, you hate
No,
everything. But
McDonald's
the color
is a-
scheme is
No,
fantastic.
McDonald's would be a good restaurant because they make a ton of money, but I don't like it. That would be how that one goes.
All right. So would Arnold make this movie better? No.
As
hear
Kurt
me out.
Russell's character,
Hear me out.
absolutely.
No. Hear me out. Meow Yin.
Oh my!
Dennis Dunn has got to pick up his gay lover
My
at the
gosh.
airport. And
Arnold has green eyes.
and Arnold has green eyes.
Doesn't say a word.
Doesn't
through the
say a
whole
word
movie.
the whole movie.
He does pull-ups.
And don't tell me Meow Yin's performance was better. I think you throw him in the movie as Miao Ying, and it's a better movie.
He does pull-ups on the flaming sword.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I wanted him as Eddie.
As Eddie, that would have been fine too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard in this movie because he doesn't really fit anywhere because like Jack is the only Caucasian and Herman Gracie basically and Margot. There's like everybody else is like part of Chinatown, and so they're like all, you know what I mean? So
I would have made Arnold Schwarzenegger be Eddie.
Yeah.
And then I would have brought Jackie Chan in as Wang.
Well, he
And
was
then
supposed to be.
Yeah.
I would have had the three of them turn this into like a Three Amigos story.
Yeah.
And
Jackie
just,
Chan was supposed to be him, but they didn't think his English was good enough.
Yeah.
And Dennis obviously could speak.
That's a
it
bummer.
easily,
I would
but
have
yeah.
loved to have seen some of that.
What about Arnold Schwarzenegger as Thunder?
Oh, sure. I mean, if they don't mind like a blonde Austrian being Thunder, yeah, he could have absolutely done it.
Yeah.
Right?
What do you think,
He
Clint?
was physical.
Replace Kurt Russell.
Oh,
Yeah.
Son of a...
All right. So
Moving on.
I just want to say thanks to everybody that listened. We've got also released today a bonus episode because it is our 50th episode. So if you haven't had a chance to listen to that, where we look back at the first 50 episodes and we do some ultimate rankings and discussions on kind of what was the best and worst of what we've already covered, and you can tune in next week. We're also going to start about, let me go back. And then also next week, you can tune in. We're going to have a new movie like we do every Friday, and it's going to be 2009's Ninja Assassin. So don't forget to tune in for that. And then as we said earlier, you guys, if you made it this far with us, you guys here at the end of the episode, you guys are the diehards. And the reason we made the Patreon, yes, we need to raise a little bit of money, not a lot, just a little, in order to take the next step for Bad Movies Rule. But we're really making that for the diehards because the content, the extra content that we're going to be putting out through Patreon is for you, the diehards. So if you could, don't forget to sign up for our Patreon. It's a low cost. You can get the link. It's in the show notes. It's in the description. And we just love and appreciate you guys. Thank you all for listening. We'll catch you next episode.
I heard there was a Aerosmith song based off this movie.
Off of
Big Trouble in Little China?
Yeah.
what Aerosmith song was based off of this?
Loving an Elevator.
Loving an elevator, loving it up when I'm going down. That one?